blooming just beyond the old wooden planks, and curiosity tugged at her heart. The bridge creaked underfoot as she crossed, leaves crunching softly in the quiet air. Suddenly, a hush fell. Leela noticed a glimmer of light flickering through the trees to her right. Drawn in, she stepped off the path and pushed aside a curtain of ivy to reveal a small plot of wildflowers dancing in the breeze. In the center stood a tiny wooden bench, carved with delicate patterns of leaves and vines. Leela settled down, breathing in the sweet scent of blossoms and the earthy warmth around her. As she sat, a gentle voice whispered through the leaves, "Welcome, friend. Your secret is safe here." Looking up, Leela saw an old man smiling kindly from a distance, his eyes twinkling with stories untold. He approached, offering a hand wrapped in an intricate patchwork quilt. "This garden has always been a haven for those who seek peace," he said softly, "and now it's yours too." Leela's heart swelled with happiness. She had found a place where time slowed and worries faded. The old man shared tales of the bridge, of forgotten holidays and quiet evenings spent beneath the maple trees. With every story, the garden seemed to grow brighter, more alive with memories woven through the air. Leela promised to keep the secret, visiting often to tend the flowers and listen to the breeze. When she left, the garden gently faded behind the ivy, waiting patiently for her next arrival. Back home, she arranged wildflowers in a vase, their colors vivid as the morning sun. And every evening, she smiled, knowing that beyond the bridge lay a world of comfort and quiet joy. Sometimes, she whispered, the smallest secret makes the biggest difference. And with a heart full of wonder, Leela drifted into peaceful dreams of maple leaves and gentle whispers. In the heart of a forgotten village stood an old mansion wrapped in ivy and shadow. Alina, curious and fearless, had always been drawn to the mansion despite the villagers' warnings. One evening, armed with only a lantern, she slipped through the creaking gates and into the dim hallway. The air was thick with dust and silence, until a faint whisper drifted from the wall at the end of the corridor. There, hanging crookedly, was a portrait of a woman whose eyes seemed almost alive, gleaming in the lantern light. Alina stepped closer, feeling a chill as a soft voice echoed, "Help me." Startled but intrigued, she reached out, tracing the woman's delicate features with trembling fingers. Suddenly, the room spun, and Alina found herself in a sunlit garden, centuries past, standing before the very woman from the portrait. The woman introduced herself as Isolde, trapped between worlds by a jealous curse. Alina realized the whispers were cries for freedom, her only chance to break the spell and release Isolde's soul. To succeed, she had to solve a riddle hidden somewhere in the mansion, tied to an ancient family secret. Guided by fleeting whispers and unseen hands, Alina explored secret rooms and forgotten letters. In a dusty diary, she uncovered the truth. Isolde's love was betrayed, and jealousy bound her spirit to the painting. With a steady voice, Alina recited a passage from the diary, invoking the words of forgiveness and release. Light flooded the room as the portrait shimmered, Isolde's form slowly stepping out, free at last. "Thank you," Isolde whispered, her smile warm as she dissolved into a cascade of petals. The mansion sighed, the weight of centuries lifting in an instant. Alina stepped back into the present, the portrait now a simple painting of a serene garden. Outside, the villagers noticed the mansion's gloom had lifted, its mystery gently unraveled. Alina smiled, knowing some whispers carry the power to heal and set free. Under a heavy twilight sky, Mara walks cautiously through the quiet village street, her eyes darting nervously at shadows cast by the failing street lamps. The fading light deepens the ominous mood as her scar pulses faintly, a subtle reminder of the power tied to her. At the aged bookshop, Mara meets Elias, whose piercing blue eyes glint with unspoken knowledge. He hands her an ancient leather-bound book that pulsing faintly with blue light, hinting at secrets long concealed. Mara opens the book, revealing cryptic writings describing a shimmering mist known as the Veil, said to hide unseen realms just beyond the mortal eye. The words seem to shift on the pages, deepening the mystery surrounding the mist's true nature. Suddenly, the room's light dims as a faint mist swirls outside the shop window, its colors undulating and forms shifting eerily. Mara's scar reacts subtly, throbbing as if in resonance with the haunting presence. Stepping outside, Mara catches sight of fleeting figures within the mist, their outlines appearing and vanishing with ghostly speed. The sensation is both chilling and compelling, drawing her attention despite the growing unease. From behind Mara appears Leora, her glowing amber eyes fixed on the veil as she tightly clasps the delicate silver necklace around her neck. The necklace's subtle shine contrasts with the growing darkness surrounding them. Leora's voice is low and urgent as she whispers of the veil's increasing strength and an impending danger looming over the village. Her warning hangs heavy in the air, fraught with an ominous tension. Mara's scar pulses with a faint, awakening rhythm, seemingly stirred by Leora's presence and the swirling mist outside. A magnetic force connects Mara more deeply to the supernatural threat closing around them. Elias explains gravely that the veil is a bridge between their world and a forgotten realm, whose chaotic merging threatens to engulf their village entirely. His words underscore the gravity of the threat they face together. Determined, Mara resolves to explore the village outskirts where the veil's mist thickens most. Clutching the ancient book and eyes fixed on Leora's necklace, she steels herself for what lies ahead. At the boundary, Mara observes flickering silhouettes trapped and calling for release within the dense veil. Their desperation intensifies the urgency of her quest as ghostly hands seem to reach for her in silence. Without warning, the mist convulses and surges forward in an attempt to pull Mara into its depths, her scar igniting with fierce, burning intensity. The veil's power threatens to overwhelm her, testing her resolve. Leora reacts swiftly, grabbing Mara's hand and projecting a calming glow from the silver necklace that soothes the searing pain. The light creates a fragile shield against the veil's relentless grasp. Elias issues a dire warning. Only by breaking the binding curse that ensnares them all can they prevent the veil from consuming the village whole. The stakes rise sharply, leaving no option but to confront the unknown curse. Resolute, Mara vows to seek the source of the curse deep within the forgotten forest beyond the village's edge. Her determination fuels her forward despite the growing shadow cast by the veil. Entering the ancient forest, Mara feels the palpable presence of the veil intensify, its shifting shapes entwining among gnarled trees. The eerie whispers and pulsating air immerse her in a realm straddling reality and the unknown. Her fingers brush over cryptic symbols carved into the bark, which flares softly when illuminated by the book's ethereal light. The carvings hint at forgotten knowledge and deeper connections to the veil's mystery. A sudden chorus of whispering voices guides Mara into a shadowed clearing, where the earth itself pulses with ethereal energy beneath her feet. The atmosphere is thick with unseen power, amplifying the tensions surrounding her quest. From within the mist, the veil coils into a serpentine shape that sways and beckons Mara with haunting melodies. Its hypnotic lure threatens to draw her deeper into a perilous and unknown domain. Struggling against the allure, Mara summons Elias's counsel, focusing on the steady pulse of her scar as a tether to her own reality. This fragile anchor steadies her amidst the mist's deceptive embrace. Leora emerges again, revealing she can harness partial control over the veil through the power of her silver necklace. Together, they forge a cautious alliance to navigate the treacherous mist. The trio follows twisting tendrils of the veil to an ancient stone altar half engulfed by creeping roots, a relic long forgotten by time. Its presence signifies a possible key to unraveling the curse binding them. Carved into the altar's worn surface is an inscription recounting a forgotten pact between the villagers and a realm beyond the veil. The weight of history presses upon them as Mara prepares to read aloud. As Mara recites the ancient words, a surge pulses through the clearing, causing the scar on her cheek to glow with radiant intensity. The veil's mist thickens suddenly, its shape erupting with newfound fury. In an instant, the mist separates Mara from her companions, engulfing her in a cold, suffocating embrace. She is left isolated within the veil's grasp, the true danger and mystery deepening around her. Inside the veil, Mara's surroundings shift, revealing ghostly figures tethered by shadows of fear and sorrow. Each trapped spirit flickers with fragments of their past lives, their faces etched with despair and longing. The air hums with the weight of memories bound by an ancient curse that holds them captive. As Mara's gaze settles, she recognizes some faces among the trapped souls, including a young woman whose features mirror Leora's in a time long gone. This spectral resemblance deepens the mystery and hints at a connection spanning generations. The silver necklace glimmers faintly, resonating with the vision. Desperate to reach them, Mara strains to communicate through the swirling mist, her voice barely a whisper against the veil's murmurs. She seeks a thread of hope, any sign that the spirits can be freed from their eternal prison. Each attempt shakes the veil, revealing fragile glimpses of forgotten trust. Meanwhile, Elias pores over the ancient leather-bound book beneath the clearing's wan light. His eyes scan arcane scripts until he uncovers a vital truth. The curse can only be undone by rekindling the forgotten trust that once bound the living and the spirits. The knowledge brings both hope and urgency to the moment. Leora steps forward, holding her silver necklace tightly as it emits a delicate, luminous beacon that pierces the veil's dense folds. The soft light guides Mara, pulling her back from the abyss toward the safety of the clearing. The necklace's glow becomes a fragile lifeline amid the encompassing mist. Emerging once more, Mara carries with her a fierce determination, the weight of both realms pressing on her. She resolves to unite the living villagers and the forgotten souls trapped within the veil. This newfound purpose ignites a spark of hope against the encroaching darkness. Gathered beneath the ancient altar, Mara, Elias, and Leora commence a ritual invoking the sacred pact that once protected both worlds. But as their voices rise, the veil reacts unpredictably, the energies surging uncontrollably. Instead of peace, a violent storm of mist and shadow engulfs the clearing, threatening to unravel their efforts. The trees surrounding them shudder violently, roots twisting like serpents into the earth. Shadowy figures emerge, swirling with the turbulent mist as it spreads rapidly toward the nearby village. The atmosphere thickens with impending danger, and every breath feels charged with ominous power. Mara's scar pulses fiercely, each throb accompanied by sharp waves of pain that blur her vision between the physical and spirit worlds. The connection she shares with the veil intensifies, making it harder to distinguish reality from the haunting apparitions. She steadies herself against the mounting assault of sensations. Elias moves swiftly to shield Leora from sudden bursts of ethereal light shards that erupt unpredictably from the altar. The fragments shimmer dangerously, slicing through the shadows even as they threaten the children's safety. His protective stance shows his resolve amidst the chaos surrounding them. Through the tempest, a translucent figure materializes, a spectral elder cloaked in ancient robes, eyes piercing with timeless knowledge. The elder warns that the Pact's betrayal was neither distant nor abstract. It was recent and deeply personal. Their voice resonates with a grave urgency, shaking the gathering to its core. Mara's heart clenches as realization dawns. The origin of the curse is entwined with her own lineage and the scar etched on her cheek. The painful truth reveals that an ancestral promise, tethered to her family, was broken, casting a shadow she now must face. This revelation deepens the stakes of her mission. Desperation grips the group as the veil swells ominously, its tendrils threatening to envelop the entire forest and village beyond. The very air trembles with a suffocating energy, signaling that time is running out. The fragile hope they clung to seems on the verge of collapse. In the midst of turmoil, the spectral elder extends an ancient ring embedded with cryptic runes toward Mara. They speak in riddles about reconciliation, calling it a key to mend the fracturing bond between worlds. The offering feels heavy with meaning, as if the weight of fate rests in Mara's hands. Upon accepting the ring, Leora's necklace flares to life, glowing brighter than it ever has before. The combined light from the two relics casts intricate patterns that ripple through the veil's mist. This harmonious reaction hints at a powerful union of forces forming within their grasp. Armed with the ring upon her finger and Leora's necklace around the child's neck, Mara returns to the altar. Her resolve is steely, ready to amend the broken vow that haunted her bloodline. The air buzzes with anticipation as they prepare for the next attempt at the ritual. As the ritual commences anew, opposing energies surge and clash violently. Mara's scar becomes a glowing conduit, channeling power that radiates through her very being. The struggle between darkness and light manifests physically, the veil writhing in response to the escalating forces. Mara confronts a torrent of painful memories tied to her heritage and the consequences of past betrayals. She embraces responsibility and opens her heart with compassion toward the spirits and villagers alike. This emotional reckoning strengthens her connection to the power she wields. Gradually, the Veil's chaotic turmoil begins to abate, its once wild energies calming into a gentle ebb. The mist recedes slowly, revealing faint smiles on the faces of the spirits, signaling their relief and gratitude. A fragile peace takes hold, promising healing across realms. Light breaks through the dense, dark canopy overhead, casting the village's edge into clear view once again. The tension that had gripped the clearing eases palpably, replaced by cautious hope. Nature itself seems to breathe easier as balance is tentatively restored. Unexpectedly, Mara's scar transforms, fading into a luminous silver shimmer that glistens softly on her cheek. This visible change links her unmistakably to the Veil's essence, marking her as a bridge between worlds. The transformation is both awe-inspiring and humbling. Leora's necklace and the ancient ring merge their luminescence, stabilizing the fragile connection between the realms. Together, they form a radiant symbol of unity and protection. This synthesis promises ongoing harmony where once there was division. Elias steps forward to reveal that their roles are not mere coincidence, but a destined guardianship. They are charged with balancing the delicate peace between the living and the spirit world. His words underscore the profound responsibility that has been entrusted to them all. Mara feels a profound bond deepen with the freed spirits, now released from torment, yet choosing to linger as vigilant watchers over the village. Their presence is no longer a threat but a blessing, a shared guardianship born from mutual trust. She embraces her new role with quiet strength. The surrounding forest seems to inhale a new breath, alive with a gentle, shimmering mist that no longer menaces but protects. Nature and spirit exist in harmonious balance, secured by the sacrifices and courage of those who dared to believe. Hope glows softly as the veil between worlds settles into peaceful coexistence. Around the warming fire, Mara's voice steadies and the villagers lean in, their apprehension giving way to a deep respect. She recounts the tale of the veil and the sacrifices made to protect both realms. Her words carry the weight of truth, transforming fear into understanding within the gathered crowd. The faint glow on Mara's scar pulses softly in the firelight, a subtle yet constant reminder of her unique bond with the veil's power. This mark, once a symbol of pain, now signifies her duty and strength. It connects her intimately to the mysteries that have shaped the village's fate. In the village square, Leora gathers the children beneath the old oak tree, her amber eyes sparkling with warmth. She teaches them about honoring the ties between their world and those unseen, emphasizing kindness and respect across all boundaries. The silver necklace around her neck catches the sun, symbolizing both hope and continuity. Back in the quiet of the bookshop, Elias returns the ancient leather-bound tome to its sacred place on a high shelf. He closes the book carefully, knowing that the knowledge it holds must be protected for future generations. The tome remains a silent guardian of the legacy they have all safeguarded. From a distance, Mara catches a final glimpse of the forest's edge, where a shimmering gateway flickers with calm, radiant light. The veil there is less a barrier and more a gentle threshold, inviting peace rather than fear. It promises a future where connection and understanding prevail. Feeling the strength of unity and the wisdom gained from recent trials, Mara stands taller and more resolute than ever. Her spirit, intertwined with the power of the veil, is fortified against whatever challenges lie ahead. She embraces her role with confidence and hope. That evening, the village bursts into celebration, a harmonious blend of age-old traditions and newfound reverence for the otherworldly. Music and laughter fill the air, binding the community together in respect and joy. The silver necklace and Mara's scar are honored symbols woven into the festivities. As night falls, stars twinkle vividly above while the mist around the now tranquil trees swirls gently in the cool breeze. The veil's shimmer is soft, casting a luminous glow that comforts the village below. The natural world and the supernatural stand in peaceful coexistence under the vast sky. Mara, Elias, and Leora stand side by side at the hillside, their eyes fixed on the horizon where the worlds gently touch. Each carries a quiet sense of purpose and shared destiny, united by trust and the bonds they've restored. Together, they watch as light from the veil bridges their realities with promise and peace. The story closes as the veil continues to shimmer softly, a luminous bridge of light rather than shadow. It heralds a new era of hope and balance, a testament to courage, unity, and the enduring power of connection. The village, forever changed, embraces this dawn with open hearts. In the twilight shadows of Eldoria, a flickering light danced atop the ancient tower. Aelina, the young apprentice, raced through the crumbling halls, her heart pounding with urgency. The village below whispered of darkness swallowing the land, but only she knew why. Legends spoke of the Everflare, a mystical flame that kept dusk and despair at bay. Tonight, the Everflare wavered, threatening to wink out forever. Aelina reached the tower, breath catching in her throat as she saw the flame flicker weakly. "If the light dies, so do we," she murmured, recalling the elder's words. Her fingers trembled as she fetched the ancient crystal, said to revive the flame's heart. Placing it gently beside the Everflare, she whispered an incantation passed down through generations. Suddenly, the flame leapt brighter than ever, bathing the tower in golden warmth. A comforting hum filled the air, rippling through the land like a soothing melody. Outside, the villagers lifted their faces toward the glow, hope rekindling in their eyes. Aelina descended, the weight of her quest lifting with each step. "The light lives on," she told the gathered crowd, pride shining brighter than the flame. From that night forward, Eldoria's nights were no longer dark whispers, but stories of courage and magic. Aelina kept watch, her flame never flickering again, a beacon against the shadows. The villagers rebuilt, their fears replaced by faith in the light and its keeper. In every corner of Eldoria, whispers turned to songs, celebrating the last light's triumph. And as dawn stretched its fingers across the land, the darkness stayed at bay, held at bay by one girl's unwavering hope. In the heart of the ancient tower, the Everflare burned eternal, a promise that even the smallest light can conquer the deepest night. A fierce storm drove Mira's small boat toward the jagged coast of an island that wasn't on any map. She clung to her oars as waves crashed, finally collapsing on the rocky shore, breathless but alive. The island was silent, except for the whisper of the wind weaving through twisted trees. Mira stood, brushing seaweed from her hair, spotting a dim light flickering through the dense forest. Curious, she ventured toward the glow, her footsteps crunching over dry leaves. Suddenly, a low growl echoed. A shadow slipped between the trees, eyes gleaming. Heart pounding, Mira remembered the stories her grandfather told. This was the lair of the island's guardian beast. But the light called her onward, promising answers tied to the legends she chased all her life. Deeper in the woods, she found a clearing where the light came from an old, intricately carved lantern hanging from a stone pillar. Beneath it, an ancient map etched into the rock, showing a hidden cavern beneath the island. The growl returned, closer this time, but as Mira reached for the lantern, a large wolf stepped into view, calm and watchful. She lowered her hand, meeting the wolf's eyes. Instead of fear, she saw a knowing spark, a silent invitation. Together, they made their way to the cavern entrance, the wolf leading confidently as if this place belonged to it alone. Inside, tetrahedrons of light from crystals guided their path through twisting tunnels. At the chamber's heart, Mira uncovered a cavern of shimmering stones, their energy humming beneath her fingertips. The map revealed the stones held power to calm storms, why her boat had survived, why she had been drawn here. As she touched a crystal, the wolf nuzzled her hand, as if approving the island's secret keeper was found. Mira lit the ancient lantern again, promising the wolf she'd protect the island's secrets and respect its fierce guardian. The storm cleared, sunlight breaking through the canopy. The wolf vanished into the shadows, the island now peaceful. Rowing home, Mira smiled, knowing some adventures are not just about discovery, but guardianship too. The rain tapped softly against the old wooden window, each drop a reminder of time slipping away. Clara stared at the faded photograph on the mantelpiece, her fingers tracing the outline of a once familiar face. Her heart tightened. 20 years ago, she had left this town, chasing dreams that felt too big for this small place. But dreams, she learned, have a way of circling back, much like the seasons. A knock blended into the rhythm of the storm outside. Clara's breath caught, who would come after all these years. Opening the door, she found him standing there, soaked but unmistakably him. "I never stopped thinking about you," he said softly, the vulnerability in his voice clearer than the rain. Clara's eyes searched his face, memories flooding in like the tide. There was anger, yes, but also a profound sadness that mirrored her own. They sat in silence, the storm a backdrop to years of unspoken words. "Why now?" she finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. He looked down, struggling before meeting her gaze. "Because it took me this long to understand what I lost." The room filled with a fragile hope, delicate as the rain outside. They talked, shared stories of lost time, and the paths that led them astray. Each word was a stitch, weaving a tapestry of healing and forgiveness. Though the past was a shadow, it no longer defined them. As the storm slowed, a quiet peace settled between them. Clara smiled, a weight lifting from her chest. "Maybe some echoes are meant to bring us home." He nodded, reaching out to take her hand with gentle certainty. Outside, the clouds parted, revealing a clear, hopeful dawn. In the heart of the ancient forest stood the whispering oak, its vast branches swaying even when the air was still. Elara, a young mapmaker from the nearby village, ventured to the tree, drawn by tales of its mysterious murmurs. She reached the tree just as twilight painted the sky in purple hues, the whispers growing louder in the fading light. Leaning close, she could make out words woven with stories of lost lands and forgotten magic. Intrigued, Elara pressed her ear to the bark, and a sudden warmth spread through her fingertips. The tree revealed a secret map etched within its rings, visible only to those who listened with an open heart. Elara traced the delicate lines, and suddenly the map shimmered, unfolding a path to a hidden glade. Determined, she set off along the trail, leaves crunching underfoot, guided by the oak's gentle whispers. The forest seemed alive, shadows dancing and stars peeking through the canopy above. After crossing a silver stream and climbing mossy stones, Elara arrived at the glade bathed in moonlight. At its center stood a stone pedestal bearing an ancient key, glowing softly under the night sky. She reached out, fingers trembling, and took the key, feeling a pulse of magic coursing through her veins. The whispering oak's voice echoed gently. "With this, you unlock more than doors, you unlock destinies." Elara smiled, understanding the journey was just beginning, but the mapmaker's curiosity was her true compass. Returning home at dawn, the forest alive with morning light, she held the key close, ready for the next adventure. Villagers noticed a new spark in her eyes, tales spreading about the girl who spoke to trees and followed whispers. Elara knew the oak's secret was safe with her, a bridge between worlds waiting to be crossed again. And every so often, when the breeze stirred just right, the whispering oak called to her once more. "Remember," it would say softly, "the greatest maps are drawn with courage and heart." With a newfound purpose, Elara set her quill to parchment, ready to chart the wonders hidden beyond the known world. The world had fallen silent, save for the whispers of wind among ruins. Elara climbed the cracked wall of the old library, eyes scanning the horizon. In a sky once vibrant, gray clouds now held only ash and sorrow. Her only companion, a rusted drone named K2, buzzed softly at her side. "Another day, another shadow," she murmured, gripping a faded map. They ventured beyond the city's skeletal remains, seeking seeds of life. Fields of twisted metal and splintered wood stretched endlessly. Hope was scarce, but Alara's hands trembled with determination. K2 beeped sharply, detecting faint signals buried beneath rubble. They uncovered a buried greenhouse, surprisingly intact, a sanctuary of green. Inside, shoots of verdant plants clawed toward fractured glass ceilings. Elara knelt, brushing the earth from a sprouting leaf, a miracle in decay. "Life finds a way." K2's voice crackled with optimism. They worked through days and nights, nurturing the fragile garden of rebirth. As plants flourished, a distant storm began to cleanse the ash-filled air. Neighbors emerged, drawn by the promise of renewal beneath shattered skies. Together, they rebuilt, patching the world with small acts of courage. Elara smiled, watching green reclaim the gray, a quiet victory. The future was uncertain, but within those growing leaves lay the spark of dawn. And under the ember-streaked horizon, hope whispered its unyielding song. Jack slipped into the dimly lit room, the hum of old electronics filling the air. On the battered radio, a faint, irregular static crackled with an eerie pattern. He adjusted the dial, eyes narrowing as the static gave way to a whispered message. "Help me," a chilling voice beckoned, barely audible beneath the noise. Jack's heart skipped. This was no ordinary interference. He traced the voice's origin to an abandoned bunker on the outskirts of town. Against better judgment, he grabbed his coat and headed out into the biting wind. The bunker's door groaned open, revealing decades of dust and darkness inside. A faint light flickered deep within, pulsing in sync with the haunting message. Step by cautious step, Jack descended into the depths, every shadow a threat. Suddenly, the whisper came again, clearer. Find the truth before it's too late. He found an old journal, yellowed pages filled with frantic notes and diagrams. The journal spoke of a secret experiment gone wrong, trapping a scientist's consciousness in the radio waves. The static pulsed, now a rhythmic beat, guiding Jack to a hidden panel. With trembling fingers, he flipped a switch, and the room flooded with pale light. A holographic figure shimmered into view, the scientist, desperate and trapped in limbo. "Thank you," the figure whispered, relief washing over his ethereal form. Jack promised to keep the secret safe and seek help to bring him back. As he exited, the radio's static faded forever, silence reclaiming the night. Outside, the first rays of dawn cracked the horizon, signaling a new beginning for all involved. The sky split silently just after midnight, casting a pale glow over the deserted city streets. Lena's fingers trembled as she adjusted the settings on the quantum scanner, her breath shallow with anticipation. "If these readings are right," she murmured, "we're staring at a rift in space-time itself." The device buzzed, emitting a steady hum that resonated through the hollow chamber where Lena worked. Suddenly, a ripple shimmered in the air, a translucent tear revealing glimpses of a parallel world. She leaned closer, eyes wide, watching shadows dance across the surface, foreign yet familiar. "It's like looking into a pond reflecting another life," the voice behind her whispered. Startled, Lena turned to see her colleague, Mark, illuminated by the eerie light from the rift. "This changes everything," Mark said, his voice filled with awe and fear. Without warning, a figure stepped through, unstable but unmistakably human. Lena reached out, heart pounding as the stranger's hand met hers, a bridge between realities. "We don't have much time," the visitor warned. "The rift is tearing us apart." Together, they raced against the clock, calibrating the scanner to stabilize the breach. Alarms blared as devices overloaded, and the rift pulsed with increasing intensity. Lena whispered a desperate plea, "Hold on just a little longer." With a final surge, the rift blinked, its chaos settling into a steady glow. The stranger smiled faintly. "You saved us all today." As the rift sealed, peace returned, leaving only the hum of possibilities in its wake. Lena exhaled, knowing the boundary between worlds was no longer a barrier, but a bridge. And in the quiet aftermath, she smiled, ready for whatever might step through next. Anna's morning began with the familiar scent of freshly baked bread wafting through her kitchen. She glanced out the window and noticed a golden maple leaf fluttering gently to the ground. Deciding to seize the calm, she slipped on her shoes and stepped outside, the crisp air filling her lungs. The park nearby was her sanctuary, especially under the sprawling branches of the ancient maple tree. She sat down on the worn wooden bench, watching children play and dogs chase after frisbees. An elderly man approached, carrying a small sketchbook and a kind smile. "Mind if I join you?" he asked softly, settling down beside her. They exchanged brief introductions, the warmth of their conversation matching the autumn sun. He showed her his drawings, delicate sketches of leaves, branches, and the park's old bench. Anna shared stories of her childhood visits to the same park, memories blooming between them. Suddenly, a gust of wind sent a flurry of vibrant leaves swirling around their feet. "Looks like autumn's putting on a show for us," the man chuckled. She laughed, feeling a lightness she hadn't realized she'd been missing. Time slipped away pleasantly, their worries momentarily forgotten in simple companionship. As the sun dipped lower, painting the sky in pink and orange hues, they rose to leave. "Thank you for sharing this afternoon with me," Anna said, her smile genuine. "The pleasure was all mine," he replied, handing her a small sketch of the maple tree. Walking home, Anna held the drawing close, grateful for the unexpected friendship. Sometimes, she mused, all it takes is a leaf to start a new chapter. With the city lights twinkling ahead, she felt ready for whatever tomorrow might bring. The rain slashed against the cracked neon sign outside Jack's office, casting flickering shadows on the damp pavement. Inside, Jack Marlowe lit a cigarette, the smoke curling around his face as he scanned the case file he'd been nursing all week. A sudden knock at the door broke the silence. Before he could answer, she slipped in, her heels clicking with purpose. Her name was Evelyn, a dame with secrets buried deep beneath those emerald eyes. "I need your help," she said, voice trembling like delicate glass ready to shatter. Jack studied her, noting the fear that clung to her like a second skin, and the hint of urgency in her plea. She told him about a missing ledger, a document that could topple powerful men and ruin lives. No one else would touch it, but Jack was no stranger to diving into the murky depths where shadows breathed. He agreed, the flicker of former pride lighting his gaze. This was the game he once played, now reluctantly called back. The city at night was a maze of whispers, and every alleyway held a watchful eye. Jack traced the ledger's trail from smoky jazz bars to empty warehouses where danger waited in silence. A brush with a hired gun left Jack nursing wounds, but more determined than ever to see this through. Evelyn reappeared, her facade cracking to reveal a woman cornered by past mistakes and hard choices. Together they plotted their next move, understanding that trust was a currency neither had enough of. The climax came in an abandoned dock, where shadows lengthened and gunfire shattered the night's stillness. Jack moved like a ghost, every step calculated, every breath controlled as he faced those who wanted the ledger, and Evelyn silenced. In the aftermath, the ledger was recovered, its contents exposing the truth beneath layers of lies and corruption. Evelyn vanished as mysteriously as she came, leaving Jack with a silent promise and an empty whiskey glass. Jack stood by the rain-soaked window, smoke spiraling upwards, contemplating the city's endless cycle of deceit and survival. Another night, another secret, he murmured, extinguishing his cigarette and slipping back into the shadows of Marlowe Street. Clara had only just moved into the old cottage when the whispers began. At first they were faint, like a breeze rustling through the leaves, but soon they grew louder, unmistakably voices murmuring beneath the ancient willow tree. Curiosity overcame fear. One evening, Clara followed the sound to the gnarled roots. There, half buried in the earth, lay an old, weathered box. Inside, she found letters tied with a crimson ribbon, written decades ago. The letters spoke of a love so powerful, it defied even death. As Clara read, the air thickened, and the whispers transformed into soft, melodious singing. A pale figure emerged from the shadows, a woman in a flowing gown, eyes full of longing. "Thank you for hearing us," she said gently, voice like wind through the trees. "Our souls were bound here, waiting for someone to set us free." Clara felt a warmth spread through her chest, a connection to their timeless love. With a smile, she placed the ribbon back and closed the box. The willow's branches swayed as if in gratitude, the whispers fading into silence. From that night, peace settled over the cottage and the willow's shade. Clara often sat beneath its branches, feeling the lingering touch of something magical. She no longer feared the voices, but embraced them as stories untold. Years later, visitors would remark on the gentle aura surrounding the ancient tree. And sometimes, when the wind was just right, a faint melody could be heard, a song of love waiting no longer. Ilara stands poised at the vast forest's edge, her silver hair shimmering in the soft morning light, while the crystal heart pendant pulses faintly in her grasp. The pendant's gentle glow reflects her determination as she prepares to venture into the unknown. A whispering wind stirs the leaves, carrying faint, ethereal voices that echo from deep within the forest. The voices seem to blend promise with warning, beckoning Ilara onward, yet hinting at lurking dangers ahead. By a cracked stone altar, Ilara encounters Phelan, whose amber eyes scan the dense trees warily, his scar reddened by the crisp morning air. His presence feels reassuring, yet his stoic demeanor hints at the threats shadowing their path. Phelan presents an ancient tome, its aged pages inscribed with symbols mirroring those etched on Ilara's crystal heart pendant. The book seems to hold forgotten knowledge vital to navigating the mysteries ahead. Myra bursts into view, her iridescent wings casting shimmering patterns as she grins mischievously. She challenges Ilara with a riddle born from the forest's secrets, teasing her to unlock hidden truths. Unseen, the shade lingers among the shadows, its deep violet eyes glinting with calculated patience as it traces Ilara's every step through the twisting trees. Its silent presence casts an uneasy pall over the group. Ilara's fingers brush the pendant, prompting beams of radiant light to shoot forth, painting a luminous map across the ancient tome's pages. The glowing paths lead deeper into the heart of the forest, guiding their next steps. A sudden rustle stirs the underbrush, startling all as elusive forest creatures vanish swiftly among bioluminescent mushrooms that pulse in rhythmic beats. The eerie glow seems to synchronize with the pendant's faint pulse of warning. Phelan's voice carries a grave warning of an impending storm, his scar intensifying in color beneath the darkening, swirling clouds above. The tightening air presses upon them as tension mounts. Alara steps carefully across a crystal-clear stream, her gaze drawn to the water's surface, where reflections shimmer and shift unnaturally. The warped images hint at hidden enchantments manipulating reality around them. Guided by Myra's fluttering light, they reach an ancient tree with serpentine roots twisting wildly and ancient symbols carved deep into its bark, symbols matching those in the tome. The tree seems alive with history and magic. From Myra's palm appears the silver key, glowing softly against the tree's bark as it slides effortlessly into a concealed lock. A silent mechanism stirs, unlocking passage to secrets guarded for centuries. A hollow within the tree opens to reveal a passage glittering with multicolored crystals. The pathway beckons the trio forward, deeper into a shadowed realm alight with flickering colors. Alara hesitates, clutching the crystal heart tightly as dancing shadows flicker around them, and the forest's usual chorus falls into an eerie, unnatural silence. The stillness presses, warning of unseen threats. Suddenly, the shade emerges from the shadows, blocking their retreat with an aura of chilling silence. The crystal heart reacts instantly, emitting a faint, unsettling pulse that resonates through their very bones. Summoning resolve, Alara steps forward boldly, wielding the crystal heart to cast a radiant shield against the shade's encroaching darkness. Her light pushes back the shadows, momentarily holding the looming threat at bay. Phelan draws a blade etched with ancient runes that shimmer with captured light, readying for confrontation. His steady hands and fierce gaze speak of unwavering protection and skill. Myra darts skillfully through shafts of light, scattering fractured reflections across the cavern walls. Her nimble distractions confound the shade, drawing its attention away from Alara and Phelan. The shade recoils, dissolving into a mist that seeps silently into the crystal-strewn floor, leaving an uneasy calm in its wake. Its retreat feels only temporary, a pause before it strikes again. Descending even deeper, the group finds a chamber where ancient symbols slowly rotate, aligning precisely with the shifting seasons. The room pulses with quiet energy tied to the natural cycles that govern the world around them. Alara carefully places the crystal heart upon a central pedestal, triggering a soft, harmonious hum as surrounding crystals begin to resonate with vibrant light. The chamber seems to awaken, responding to their presence. Without warning, the path behind them collapses with a thunderous crash, sealing off their retreat. Forced onward, the group advances into unfamiliar, shadowed tunnels fraught with uncertainty. Echoes of distant, indistinct voices envelop them, as the tunnel walls appear to breathe and warp subtly. Time itself feels distorted, bending in strange rhythms around their moving shadows. Phelan pores over the tome, his keen eyes decoding a prophecy of a guardian lost to ages past, whose fate is entwined with their own. This revelation adds weight to their quest, hinting at a deeper purpose awaiting discovery. A shimmering silhouette materializes briefly, its form flickering like a mirage as it hints at the guardian's presence nearby. But just as quickly as it appears, the figure vanishes, leaving behind only a whisper of hope and mystery. Myra's delicate fingers trace the glowing runes carved deep into the tunnel walls. As she touched each symbol, a hidden map illuminated beneath their feet, its lines pulsing softly with light. The etched pathways revealed a path leading deeper underground, filled with promise and unknown dangers. Alara's hand instinctively went to the crystal heart pendant hanging at her neck. Its faint pulse quickened as their footsteps drew near a locale marked by a radiant crystal grove on the map. The pendant's steady glow warned them of the proximity of powerful magic and possible peril. They entered a vast underground garden where crystalline formations dangled like luminous fruit from ancient, gnarled branches. Soft light bathed the cavern, casting shifting patterns across walls adorned with ancient symbols. The stillness of the grove was almost sacred, touching something deep within them all. Without warning, the shade emerged, more solid than ever, shadows twisting around his form like living darkness. His presence blighted the shimmering crystals, causing them to dull and fade under his corrupting influence. A cold chill fell over the grove as the battle for light and shadow reignited. Elara gripped the crystal heart pendant tightly, channeling its subtle energy into the gleaming crystals. One by one, they shattered the shadows that the shade wielded, turning malevolence into harmless sparkles of light. The radiant bursts weakened the figure, forcing it to stagger back into the gloom. While the shade recoiled, Phelan's sharp eyes caught an outline behind the crystal canopy, a hidden door carved into the stone. The lock bore ancient symbols correlating with the turning seasons, their mechanisms delicate and complex. It became clear this door guarded secrets long forgotten. Myra sprinkled her sparkling dust over the lock's intricate gears, watching as they shimmered and began to move. Slowly, the latch slipped, accompanied by flickering light that danced across the door's surface. With careful patience, she coaxed the mechanism open, revealing what lay beyond. The door creaked open onto a chamber filled with swirling mist, an ethereal collection of forgotten memories and whispers of the past. The air was heavy with echoes that twisted and turned, as if the very walls wished to tell their story. The trio stepped forward, drawn into this timeless space. Elara moved deeper into the chamber, visions unfolding around her of a past guardian's ultimate sacrifice. The images painted a lineage linked by duty and sacrifice, a lineage to which Elara herself belonged. Her connection to the ancient guardianship was undeniable, settling like a steady fire within her. Suddenly, the shade lunged again, desperate to halt the truths from surfacing. But Elara's newfound resolve hardened her stance, and she met his attack without flinching. The revelations within had strengthened her spirit more than any weapon could alone. Phelan came to her side, his scarred cheek set in determined silence as he raised his glowing blade. Years of guarding the forest had honed his skill, and with steady strikes, he deflected the shade's shadowy assaults. Together, they formed an unbreakable front against the encroaching darkness. The crystal heart pendant flared brightly, casting a warm radiance that carved a path of light across the chamber. This luminous trail led them to a crystalline altar crowned with ancient carvings. It beckoned them closer, a silent invitation toward revelation and hope. Elara inserted the silver key into the altar's ancient lock, feeling the cool metal turn with a satisfying click. A radiant beam of pure light shot upward, piercing the chamber's darkness and bathing the room in clarity. The air vibrated with power, signaling a turning point in their journey. From the light emerged a spectral figure, the guardian of ages past, who extended a solemn hand toward Elara. His eyes held wisdom beyond words and a silent blessing that echoed through the soul. This ethereal presence validated the path Elara had chosen to walk. The shade emitted a shriek of fury as the guardian's light weakened its form. Shadows began to loosen and disperse into harmless motes, drifting away like smoke on the breeze. Its hold on the grove faltered, nearing the end of its dark reign. With the shade vanquished, the crystal grove blossomed into radiant life, colors vibrant and light pure. The forest itself seemed to breathe anew, the ancient balance restored. Every crystal shone with a brilliance that promised renewal and protection for seasons to come. Phelan explained that the cycle of seasons and light must remain in harmony to keep shadows at bay. This eternal balance was the key to sustaining peace and preventing the shade's return. Understanding this duty deepened Elara's commitment to her newfound role. Elara stood tall, her emerald eyes shining fiercely with determination and hope. She fully embraced her role as the guardian, a protector woven into the forest's very essence. The weight of responsibility settled comfortably on her shoulders, a mantle she was ready to bear. Myra flitted back toward the high canopy, her iridescent wings catching the light as she laughed gently. She promised to watch over the forest's secrets, the mischievous sprite forever entwined with the grove's magic. Her presence was a joyful reminder that even in darkness, light could be found. Outside, the storm clouds parted to reveal a sky brilliant and clear. The forest vibrated with renewed energy, every leaf and branch alive with possibility. The changing seasons whispered of new chapters, of growth and healing just beginning. Elara and Phelan stood together at the edge of the blooming grove, the crystal heart pendant glowing with a steady, calming pulse. Its gentle rhythm echoed the quiet strength of the land they now protected. Side by side, they watched as light and life intertwined in endless cycles. They uncovered an ancient mural depicting generations of guardians intertwined with the forest's destiny. The images showed eternal duty, sacrifice, and the delicate balance of nature and magic. Each painted figure bore symbols that felt deeply familiar, connecting past and present. Alara studied the mural carefully, realizing that every choice made would echo through future seasons like turning a page in a living book. The weight of their decisions stretched beyond the moment, rippling out over time. This understanding brought clarity and caution to her heart. Phelan shared stories of past challenges faced by guardians before her, reminding Alara of the strength found in unity and unwavering trust. These tales of perseverance reinforced the partnership they had forged. Together, they would face whatever trials lay ahead. The pair began setting protective wards around the crystal grove, using knowledge from the ancient tome and the pendant's power. Each ward hummed with light and magic, a barrier against future threats. Their collaboration marked the beginning of a vigilant and hopeful era for the forest. Alara carefully flipped through the ancient tome, her fingers trembling as she discovered a hidden compartment nestled between the worn pages. Inside, a delicate parchment glowed faintly, revealing a message left by the original guardian, filled with words of hope and guidance. The ink shimmered with an ethereal light, echoing the path that lay ahead. The message spoke of belief and courage as the greatest powers to overcome the darkness lurking beyond the forest's protective borders. It urged the reader to trust in the strength within and the light that shines even in deepest shadows. These words filled Alara with a newfound resolve, binding her heart to the destiny before her. Taking a deep breath, Alara stepped forward into the radiant light filtering through the crystal grove. The glowing crystals pulsed softly around her, welcoming her presence as she embraced her role as protector and guide of this sacred place. The air buzzed with energy, marking the beginning of her journey to safeguard the balance of the forest. Beside her, Phelan knelt with solemn determination, the scar on his cheek catching a stray ray of sunlight. He pledged his unwavering loyalty and support, knowing the challenges ahead would test their very limits. Their alliance forged anew, they prepared to face the trials awaiting beyond the grove's shimmering borders. The grove itself seemed to breathe, its pulsating light resonating with life and harmony. Ancient symbols etched into the bark of the surrounding trees glowed faintly, celebrating the restoration of balance and the promise of renewal. Every crystal shimmered as if acknowledging the dawn of a hopeful era. Suddenly, a flutter of iridescent wings announced Myra's return, her golden hair catching the light as she approached. In her tiny hands, she offered Alara a vial filled with shimmering, magical dust, a gift to be used only in moments of greatest peril. The sparkles within the vial seemed alive, a tangible token of friendship and aid. With reverence, Alara knelt at the heart of the grove and gently planted the silver key into the fertile earth. This act symbolized a new beginning, one rooted deeply in strength, sacrifice, and the enduring bond between guardian and forest. The ground pulsed faintly beneath her touch, welcoming the key as a beacon of hope. Together, the trio watched in awe as the seasons turned swiftly around them. Blossoms burst forth in radiant colors, while emerald leaves twisted into autumn hues. The cyclical dances of nature played out seamlessly, signifying harmony restored and the continuous flow of life. Their eyes reflected the timeless rhythm of the world's heartbeat. Bathed in the golden light of the afternoon sun, Alara's silver hair shone with renewed brilliance. The crystal heart pendant resting against her chest emitted a soft, comforting glow, a steadfast symbol of protection that would endure through all trials. In that moment, she embodied the forest's enduring spirit and strength. As twilight descended, the crystal grove sparkled under a canopy of twinkling stars, its gentle glow casting a serene beacon across the land. It stood as a testament to hope, resilience, and the courage to face the unknown for all who sought sanctuary. Quiet and steadfast, the grove promised that light would always prevail even in the darkest times. Every morning, Emma stopped by the same cafe for her coffee. It was her little ritual, a quiet moment before the day spun out of control. Today, the cafe was unusually busy. She glanced at the counter, hoping for her usual order, a simple black coffee, no fuss. As she waited, she noticed an elderly man struggling to reach the sugar packets. He was a regular too, always sitting in the corner reading. Emma walked over and offered him one, smiling warmly. "Here, let me help you with that." He looked up, surprised but grateful. "Thank you, young lady. It's the little things that make a morning better," he said. They struck up a conversation, sharing stories about their favorite books and the city's changing streets. Before long, the barista called out, "Emma, your coffee's ready." She took her cup, then turned back to the man and offered, "Would you like to share it with me?" He chuckled softly. "I think I'll stick to my tea, but I'd enjoy the company." They found a cozy spot by the window, watching the world move briskly outside while their conversation slowed to a comfortable pace. Emma realized this unexpected encounter was the best part of her day so far, a reminder that sometimes slowing down brings new connections. As the cafe began to empty, the man glanced at his watch. "I have to get going, but this was lovely." Emma nodded, feeling a warmth deeper than the coffee in her hands. "Me too. Maybe tomorrow, same time." "I'd like that," he replied with a smile, gathering his things. She watched him leave and took a sip of her coffee, savoring the moment. The barista approached, wiping his hands. "Looks like you made a new friend today." Emma smiled. "Yeah, sometimes the best part of the morning isn't the coffee, it's the company." She gathered her things, ready to face the day with a lighter heart. As she stepped outside, the sun was climbing higher, and the city seemed a little less hurried, a little more welcoming. And Emma knew that every morning held the promise of something new, something warm, just like this last cup of coffee. Mira sits quietly on a weathered park bench as golden leaves spiral down through the crisp autumn air. Her gaze lingers thoughtfully on the copper bracelet wrapped around her wrist, its intricate engravings catching the fading sunlight. Elias strolls along the path, his worn leather satchel slung casually over one shoulder. He stops briefly, watching the leaves fall with a soft, contemplative smile as if memories flutter alongside each one. Beneath the bench where Mira rests, something catches her eye, an old, folded letter, yellowed with age. She reaches down carefully, curiosity knitting her brows as she picks it up. Opening the letter, Mira reads the first few lines aloud, her expression tightening with concern. The elegant, looping handwriting hints at secrets hidden deep in the past. Elias approaches, drawn by her voice, and offers to help decipher the faded script. His gentle presence seems to ease the sudden tension surrounding the fragile paper. Leaning together over the letter, Mira and Elias share a quiet moment of connection, their eyes tracing the worn ink. Their mutual interest weaves them closer as the sounds of autumn swirl around. The letter alludes to a long-lost bond linked to an old textile shop once central to the town's life. The mention of thread and fabric stirs a mysterious resonance within them both. They decide to seek out the shop, hoping its walls might reveal forgotten chapters. The decision feels like stepping into a story stitched from time itself. Walking side by side, the streets shimmer with amber leaves swirling in gusts, as if nature itself guides their path through early autumn's embrace. Inside the textile shop's dusty interior, swaths of fabric hang heavy and layered. The scent of aged wool mingles with lavender, wrapping around them like a fragile tapestry. Behind the counter, pinned up with a rusty nail, hangs a faded photograph showing a younger Elias beside an elderly woman. The image hums with the weight of untold history. Mira notices a fabric pattern on a bolt nearby that mirrors the engraving on her copper bracelet. The delicate threads seem to echo the bracelet's story. Elias recognizes the design as a traditional family motif from decades ago, long embedded in their heritage. His voice thickens with nostalgia as memories unfold. Suddenly, a chill wind and soft rain begin tapping against the shop's windows, sealing them in this moment of discovery. The storm outside heightens their focus on the mystery at hand. Mira tightens her clutch on the copper bracelet, feeling as though the threads of history are pulling her deeper. The bracelet's weight becomes a tangible link to stories yet unraveling. Elias recalls tales from his grandmother about the workshop's sudden closure one autumn long past. Her voice echoes in his mind, filled with warnings and lost promises. With care, they pry open a hidden drawer beneath the counter, uncovering scraps of faded fabric and more fragile letters. The fragments feel like pieces of a forgotten puzzle. One letter reveals a solemn vow to protect a secret about a special thread carefully woven into the shop's fabrics. The promise hints at deeper meanings sewn between the stitches. Together, Mira and Elias try to piece together forgotten memories and the collected relics. The task is daunting, but their shared curiosity fuels their determination. Suddenly, a creak pierces the silence as the floorboard beneath them shifts. Startled, they freeze, sensing the house itself responding to their probing. Beneath the loosened board lies an old wooden box, its surface worn but sturdy. Inside rests a delicate embroidered pouch, its fine stitches shimmering under the dim light. Mira opens the pouch with reverence, revealing a spool of golden thread accompanied by a faded note. The thread glows faintly, as if holding a secret of its own. The note explains that the golden thread symbolizes connection and resilience, binding people through shared stories and trials. The words seem to breathe life into the fragile fiber. Elias shares family lore about the thread's power to protect and unite those who possess it. His voice carries the weight of generations who believed in its strength. Mira examines the golden thread alongside her copper bracelets, engraving once more, searching for patterns that intertwine their meanings. The mystery deepens, stitched tightly around their intertwined fates. Mira and Elias decided to visit her grandmother's house, hoping to uncover more hidden clues about their intertwined pasts. The air was crisp with early autumn, leaves swirling quietly around the doorstep as they stepped inside. Inside, Mira's gaze was drawn to a faded quilt draped over a chair, its fabric soft and worn. Stitched into it was the same intricate golden thread pattern they had seen before, connecting past and present through delicate textile art. Elias carefully opened a nearby sketchbook filled with early textile designs entwined with handwritten letters. The pages revealed a seamless blend of artistry and emotion, hinting at stories embedded in every drawn thread. Suddenly, a storm began to rage outside, rain pelting the windows and leaves thrashing in the wind. The tempest added a somber urgency to their quest, echoing the tension woven throughout their discoveries. Mira read aloud a passage from one of the old letters, words speaking of hope and perseverance through hardship. The sentiment felt alive, a guiding force threaded deeply within their ancestors' work. It became clear that the story they were unpacking was far more than a mere family history. It was a testament to endurance, a narrative of resilience stitching generations together. They set about recreating the quilt, gently threading golden spool through the fabric with care and reverence. Each stitch seemed to honor the legacy passed down through time. As they worked beneath the soft lamplight, their conversations grew warmer, petals of memories unfolding between tales of personal struggles and shared hopes. Textures of thread and fabric mirrored their growing connection. Elias confided his fear of losing memory and legacy, his voice steady but tinged with vulnerability. The worn leather satchel at his side seemed to carry more than just belongings. It held fragments of time itself. Mira, in turn, admitted her struggles with feeling disconnected from her past, the copper bracelet on her wrist gleaming softly. Their honest words wove a new closeness into the fabric of the evening. Slowly, the quilt took shape, each stitch a symbol of rebuilding the bond between them. The patterns of golden thread became emblems of repair, and hope layered over falling leaves and fading light. A sudden knock at the door startled them, revealing a neighbor who offered a key to the town's archives. The promise of uncovering deeper layers brought renewed focus amid the storm's distant roar. With the key in hand, they gained access to old registrations and photographs, confirming the significance of a long-forgotten textile workshop central to their family's craft. Time seemed to fold around the pages they turned. Among the dusty documents, they discovered a ledger detailing commissions made over many years, each entry punctuated with notes and dates. The archive breathed life into the silent threads connecting their heritage. One entry stood out, a special order described with golden thread, matching the patterns stitched into their quilt. The record suggested a deliberate and meaningful collaboration long before their time. Mira and Elias realized their families had once worked together, their alliance a secret bond sealed by the shared craft of thread and fabric. Their intertwined legacies were richer than either had imagined. They began to comprehend the depth and reach of their shared heritage, a tapestry woven from resilience, artistry, and unspoken commitments. The fragile threads of the past were strong indeed. Their own lives mirrored the resilience and connection symbolized by the golden thread, holding together joys and sorrows across generations. The quilt's fabric was no longer just cloth, but a living testament. As Mira held the quilt, her copper bracelet warmed unexpectedly, as if responding to the discovery. The subtle pulse of metal felt like a silent acknowledgement of their unfolding journey. Elias knew it was time to share a family secret he had quietly carried for years, the weight of it adding gravity to the dimly lit room. The leather satchel beside him seemed to shift, as if ready to reveal its own mysteries. He spoke of a lost heirloom, believed hidden for safekeeping, a tangible keepsake of their ancestral bond waiting to be found. The revelation brought a new urgency to their search. Together, they carefully examined Elias's satchel and found a concealed compartment containing a small, delicate key. The discovery felt like unlocking a door to forgotten memories. The key fit perfectly into an old sewing box they had found earlier, revealing preserved fabric scraps and faded patterns within. Each piece told a story, stitched tightly by hands long gone. Inside the box were detailed patterns and a heartfelt letter from Elias's grandmother addressed to Mira's grandmother. The words spoke volumes, binding the two families in shared history and hope. The letter spoke of hope, unity, and the responsibility to pass their legacy forward to future generations. Its message was a gentle yet powerful thread running through the fabric of their lives. As Mira and Elias sorted through the old letters and fabrics, they came to a profound realization. Their families' histories were deeply intertwined, their stories weaving together like threads in a tapestry. This connection, strengthened through shared heritage, felt greater than the sum of its parts. It was clear that together, they could honor their ancestors more fully than apart. Inspired by this revelation, they decided to create a joint exhibit, showcasing the craftsmanship and stories passed down through generations. Their plan focused on highlighting the fine details of textiles and the heartfelt messages hidden within aged letters. This exhibit would serve as a bridge linking past legacies with the present community. Preparations flourished as vibrant fabrics were carefully arranged alongside the fragile letters, each piece telling a story of its own. Mira's copper bracelet shimmered in the soft autumn light as she placed textiles with delicate threadwork near the center. Elias's worn leather satchel rested nearby, holding additional letters and artifacts ready to be displayed. Word spread quickly, and community members gathered around, drawn to this unfolding story that wove the past and present into one narrative. Faces lit by curiosity and recognition, they explored the textures and tales that Mira and Elias had brought together. The early autumn air buzzed with quiet excitement as leaves fell gently around them. Standing before the assembled crowd, Mira spoke from her heart about the power of connection and resilience. She emphasized how legacies matter because they anchor us and give strength across generations. Her voice carried the warmth of shared history, a testimony to the enduring human spirit threaded through time. Elias followed, sharing personal reflections on how this journey reshaped his understanding of family and community. Grateful for the unexpected bond formed through their discoveries, he acknowledged how the past could heal and unite. His gaze occasionally fell on his leather satchel, a symbol of the journey's lasting imprint. The quilt, sewn with strands of golden thread, emerged as a living symbol of renewed family ties and collective spirit. It embodied both the fragility and strength found in the fabric of community woven through time. Visitors saw it as a beacon of hope, intertwining old traditions with new beginnings. As the autumn winds scattered amber and crimson leaves, Mira and Elias walked side by side through the quiet streets. Their copper bracelet and worn leather satchel gleamed softly in the fading light, markers of enduring presence. The season's change mirrored the transformation within their shared story. Pausing beneath a towering tree, they watched leaves drift slowly to the ground like silent witnesses to their journey. In that peaceful moment, a profound sense of belonging settled between them, rooted in shared history and newfound friendship. The fabric of their lives felt woven ever tighter. The story closed on a quiet tableau, intertwined hands resting gently, copper and leather catching the twilight glow. Threads of past and present seemed to bind them seamlessly, a testament to legacy carried forward. In the fading amber light, unity and hope lingered like the last falling leaves of autumn. The sky was a permanent ash gray, the sun a dull ember behind clouds of dust. Lena crouched behind the crumbling wall, clutching the faded photograph of her family. She'd heard stories of the world before the fall. Forests, oceans, the endless blue sky. But now, survival meant listening to the whispers beneath the ash, the echoes of forgotten days. In the silent ruins, a faint sound caught her attention, a child's laughter. Curious and hesitant, Lena followed the sound through twisted metal and shattered glass. She found a small boy playing with a broken toy car near a rusted playground swing. "You're not alone," he said with a crooked smile, eyes bright against the gray. Together, they navigated the maze of desolation, sharing stories of remnants and hope. They reached an underground shelter, home to a small group still daring to dream. Lena offered her photograph, a token of memory, and received in return a sprout growing from a crack in the concrete. "Life finds a way," the boy whispered, pressing the fragile green shoot into her hand. Days passed, and the shelter grew as they shared food, laughter, and plans for a future. Outside, the ash began to settle, revealing patches of earth hungry for light. Together, they planted seeds from salvaged packets, watching tiny sprouts pierce the soil. Hope was no longer a whisper, but a chorus rising amidst the ruins. Lena stood at the edge of the settlement, looking up as a faint blue sky began to break through the haze. "The world isn't over," she said softly. "It's just beginning again." And beneath the lingering ash, life stirred, resilient, persistent, reborn. In the quiet, Lena smiled, knowing that sometimes endings breed the brightest beginnings. At midnight, under the flickering street lamp, Lana slipped the tiny black card into her jacket pocket. The vault was said to be impenetrable, but Lana had something no one else did, a whisper on the wind and nerves made of silk. She checked her watch. 5 minutes until the museum's security system looped the same footage again. Perfect timing. Inside, the silence was a different kind, heavy, expectant, like the air itself was holding its breath. She moved with precision, avoiding laser grids, as if dancing to music only she could hear. At the heart of the room, the ancient artifact glowed faintly behind bulletproof glass. It was beautiful, almost alive. Lana's fingers worked quickly, disabling the alarm with a hacked signal she'd crafted over weeks. A soft click and the glass slid open, the treasure now within her grasp. But then a shadow shifted. Someone else was there. Not security, but a rival, her own mirror image in ambition. Their eyes locked. Lana whispered, "I guess this is the part where they say may the best thief win." Words were needless as they darted and weaved, each trying to outsmart the other in a silent battle of wits. Lana's hand closed around the artifact just as footsteps neared. She bit her lip. Time was running out. Thinking fast, she triggered a smoke flare hidden in her sleeve, filling the room with blinding mist. Using the chaos, Lana slipped out through the emergency exit, heart pounding but victorious. Outside, rain began to fall, washing away the night's tension as if it had never happened. Another day, another dance, Lana mused, glancing back at the glowing artifact safely in her bag. She didn't look back to see the rival slip out too, nursing a grudging respect for Lana's skill. The city was quiet again, but Lana knew the game was far from over. She smiled, already planning the next move. The last lured just the beginning of a thrilling tale. In the shadows, the evening's heist already becoming legend. The rain slammed the city streets like a relentless drum, washing secrets away one drop at a time. Inside a dimly lit office, Detective Lane lit a cigarette, smoke curling like silent whispers around his tired face. "Another sleepless night," he muttered, when the door creaked open, revealing a woman drenched in trouble. "I need your help," she said, eyes darting like a trapped animal. "My brother vanished 3 nights ago, no trace." Lane grabbed his trench coat, the city's underbelly calling him out once more into the fog. The alleys smelled of wet concrete and fear, as he followed leads from shadow to shadow. Each clue was a brushstroke painting a bleak portrait. Whispered threats, shattered lives, and long-forgotten debts. In a smoky bar, a bartender slid Lane a glass and a tip. "Look where the light doesn't reach, the docks." The docks were deserted, but danger lurked beneath the flickering lamps. Footsteps echoed behind him. "I wouldn't go any further," warned a gravelly voice from the darkness. Ignoring the warning, Lane pressed on, uncovering a ring trafficking in stolen identities. He found the missing brother locked in a filthy storage room, alive but broken. "You're not just a messenger," the woman whispered when they reunited. There was fire in her eyes now. As dawn cracked the veil of night, Lane confronted the mastermind, a man cloaked in respectability by day. "Everyone has a price," Lane said, "even you." Evidence secured, they handed the villain to the police, but the city's scars ran deep. Back in his office, Lane watched the first sunbeam cut through the gloom. "Another case closed," he said with a weary smile. "But in this town, closure is just the start." The rain stopped, but the shadows lingered, waiting for the next secret to surface. And Detective Lane, cigarette still burning, was already chasing the city's next ghost. The world had turned silent. Cities buried under ash and memories, and I was one of the few who still wandered. I stumbled through the ruins, scavenging what little life remained beneath the gray skies. Amid the debris, a soft hum caught my ear, a sound I hadn't heard since before the fall. Following the melody, I entered what was left of an old library, the last sanctuary of human knowledge. There, a small device flickered faintly, projecting a hologram of a woman speaking words I barely understood. "To those who find this," she said, "hope is not lost, even in the darkest times." Her message was a whisper from the past, a spark through the gloom that clung like a second skin. Determined, I set out to find others who might still listen, carrying the hologram and its promise of hope. Days passed, and the ash continued to fall, but so did the weight from my chest. At a dilapidated radio tower, I managed to revive an ancient transmitter, sending her message into the void. Static answers crackled back at first, then words, faint but unmistakable. "We hear you," came the reply, like a balm to my weary soul. Life, I realized, had not ended. It was merely waiting beneath the ash, ready to rise again. Together, we found strength in shared voices and the fragile technology of the old world. Communities began to stir, where once there was only silence and dust. The hologram's final words echoed in my mind. "Never forget, even ruins can root new life." From hopelessness, a network grew, grounded in trust and the desire to rebuild. The ash storm slowed, revealing a horizon touched with pale light for the first time in years. I smiled as the first green shoots emerged from cracked concrete, a testament to endurance, and in that fragile dawn, the echoes beneath the ash became the heartbeat of a new beginning. The console blinked to life in the silent command room, a single message flashing on the screen. Captain Arya leaned forward, reading the coordinates aloud. An unknown signal from the edge of Xylon 9. Without hesitation, she ordered the ship to change course, curiosity outweighing caution. The crew scrambled, boots echoing as the cargo bay doors sealed behind them. Hours later, the starship approached a derelict vessel, its hull scarred by cosmic storms. No signs of life, the sensors reported, but the signal persisted, a faint, rhythmic pulse. Arya donned her suit and stepped into the airlock, heart pounding with each breath. The door creaked open, revealing a control room frozen in time, dust particles dancing in the beam of her flashlight. Her fingers traced the console, then paused as the signal intensified, syncing with a mysterious device. Suddenly, static cleared, a voice whispered, "Help," a plea lost for decades. Determined, Arya tapped into the ship's systems, rerouting power to the ancient transmitter. The vessel hummed alive. Star charts and messages flooded her screen, lost knowledge waiting to be shared. "We've found a treasure trove," she told her crew, her voice trembling with awe. They worked together to decode the data, piecing together the story of a forgotten colonization attempt. Weeks later, the crew broadcast the discovered information back to the galaxy, a beacon of hope in the vast darkness. Arya watched as the message dispersed, knowing their discovery would rewrite history. Back on the bridge, she smiled softly. Sometimes, the past finds you when you least expect it. The derelict ship faded behind them, no longer lost, but remembered. The signal ceased, but its legacy had only just begun to echo through the stars. And in the quiet hum of the starship, new adventures awaited, guided by the light of old transmissions. Maya stood in the buzzing station, clutching a crumpled train ticket in her palm. The arrival board flickered. Only one train remained before the station would close for the night. Her phone buzzed, a message from her brother, stranded miles away after a long day. "I'm waiting at the old station," it read, desperation veiled in short words. Time was slipping through her fingers, like the fading daylight outside. Passengers hustled past, heads down, lost in their own stories, unaware of the urgency in Maya's eyes. She took a deep breath, whispering, "I can't leave him there alone." Rushing through the crowd, she clutched the ticket tightly, hoping it was enough for both of them. As she approached the platform, the train's whistle pierced the air. A final call, a last chance. Maya spotted him on the opposite platform, waving frantically, his face a mix of relief and fear. But the gate began to close, barriers descending like silent judges. Without thinking, she called out, "Hold on," and dashed forward, heart pounding. A station attendant called after her, but she paid no mind, focused only on the one who needed her. With a last leap, she squeezed through, just as the gates clanged shut behind her. Breathless, she reached him, clasped his hand, their eyes locking in shared relief. The train doors opened, welcoming them aboard, two souls reunited against the ticking clock. Settling into their seats, the rhythm of the tracks beneath was a quiet celebration of their escape. Maya leaned back, voice soft. Sometimes, the smallest ticket holds the biggest hope. Outside the window, the night stretched endlessly, but inside, a light glowed bright, a bond unbroken. And as the train carried them forward, Maya knew this was just the beginning of a new journey together. As dawn breaks over the city, the silhouette of the old clock tower casts long shadows. Mara walks the quiet streets, her mind clouded with memories as the tower's chimes echo in the stillness. Stepping into a cramped workshop crowded with ticking clocks, Mara's fingers brush over a familiar broken pocket watch resting on a cluttered table. The weight of countless hours seems to press on her as she contemplates the fragile object. A close-up reveals the pocket watch's cracked glass and frozen hands, symbolizing a moment frozen in time. Mara sighs, her troubled gaze reflecting the unresolved past the watch represents. Memories flood back. A young Mara receives the pocket watch from her grandfather, the watchmaker. His steady gaze and careful hands imprint a bittersweet legacy in her heart. Returning to the present, Mara sits across from Elias in a dimly lit cafe, the air thick with unspoken tension. Their shared history complicates the fragile conversation unfolding between them. Elias produces a letter sealed with an embossed wax emblem, sliding it towards Mara with a sense of urgency. The weight of its contents hangs heavily between them. Opening the letter, Mara reads about a hidden family secret, threatening to unravel everything she thought she knew. The stakes rise, deepening her internal conflict. After a moment's hesitation, Mara clenches the broken watch tightly, steeling herself to face the shadows of her past head-on. Determination replaces doubt within her eyes. Nearby, Nina watches Mara intently from the shadows, fingers nervously twisting a small mechanical part. Her curiosity wrestles with hesitation, uncertain whether to step forward. Mara enters an aged family home, dust particles dancing in the muted light as she crosses the threshold. Faded memories cling to the walls, whispering stories of days long gone. Her fingers glide over a faded photograph depicting her grandfather wearing a peculiar, knowing smile. The image stirs questions she hadn't dared to ask before. A sudden thunderstorm crashes outside, rain pelting the windows as Mara's turbulent emotions mirror the tempest. The past feels as restless and unyielding as the storm. Elias appears unexpectedly at the doorway, his rugged presence filling the room. He warns Mara of the dangers tied to unearthing buried family truths. Despite Elias's caution, Mara insists on moving forward, fueled by a desperate need for closure. Reluctantly, Elias agrees to accompany her through this uncertain journey. Unexpectedly, the broken pocket watch begins to tick faintly, its eerie rhythm signaling that time itself seems to be shifting. Secrets long dormant stir awake around them. Together, Mara and Elias sift through the attic shadows, uncovering concealed journals and letters hidden beneath loose floorboards. Each discovery deepens the mystery. Nina steps closer, offering assistance and revealing her surprising connection to Mara's family. Her presence introduces new dimensions to the unfolding story. Tensions flare as Mara and Elias clash over trust, fracturing their uneasy alliance. Old wounds open amid accusations and doubt. In a haunting dream, the watchmaker appears, his cryptic gaze inviting Mara to look beyond the obvious. His steady hands gesture toward truths yet uncovered. Awakening with newfound resolve, Mara discovers a secret compartment within the pocket watch containing a small, enigmatic key. Hope and fear intertwine in her grasp. The key fits an ancient chest hidden beneath the house, which they open to reveal letters and artifacts long concealed. Each piece reshapes Mara's understanding of her family's past. Among the findings is a letter referencing a lost sibling, challenging everything Mara believed about her lineage. This revelation forces her to reconsider her identity. Elias confesses his own ties to the family's history, adding layers of complexity and raising the stakes. His rugged exterior cracks, exposing vulnerabilities tied to shared secrets. Mara's mind flashes back to forgotten or misunderstood childhood moments, fragments of memory swirling like puzzle pieces. Clarity and confusion intertwine as the past resurfaces. Suddenly, the pocket watch stops ticking once more, announcing a crucial turning point. Time's fragile thread seems to hold its breath, awaiting what comes next. Nina sat cross-legged on the floor, delicately examining the intricate pieces of the broken pocket watch. As she adjusted a tiny gear, her fingers brushed against a faint engraving hidden deep inside the casing. Leaning closer, she realized it was a message, carefully etched in an elegant script that had gone unnoticed until now. The message spoke of a meeting place tied to Mara's grandfather, hinting at old alliances and betrayals long buried. The words suggested that answers lay buried within forgotten walls, places where time seemed to stand still, yet memories whispered endlessly. Mara's mind raced as the past began to entwine more tightly with their present quest. Under the cloak of night, Mara, Elias clad in his worn leather jacket, and curious Nina ventured toward an abandoned train station. The cold air was thick with anticipation, and the shadows cast by the flickering lantern grew longer with each step. Guided by the secret message, their footsteps echoed into the darkness of a place forgotten by time. Unseen eyes seemed to watch their every movement as vague silhouettes moved beyond the station's broken windows. The atmosphere thickened with unease, signaling that danger was closer than they realized. Each glance shared was met with silence, warning them that they were not alone in this pursuit of truth. Tension surfaced between Elias and Mara, their voices low but edged with frustration over past decisions and recent risks. Bitter words hinted at cracks forming in their once solid partnership, revealing fears and doubts beneath their steely exteriors. Sensing the growing divide, Nina quickly intervened, her youthful voice urging calm and unity among them. Their search uncovered a hidden trapdoor beneath loose wooden planks, leading down into a secret room. Inside, the walls were adorned with cryptic symbols, and countless clocks of various designs ticked in unison, creating a haunting symphony of time. The air was thick with mystery, each element hinting at layers of concealed history awaiting discovery. Mara's fingers traced the carvings on the wall, triggering a subtle mechanism embedded within the ancient wood. A panel slid open silently, revealing a secret document covered in faded ink that detailed the true loyalties of her family. The revelation was profound, challenging everything she believed about her lineage and legacy. Elias eyed the fragile parchment warily, his rugged features tightening with concern. He questioned whether unveiling such truths was worth the chaos that might follow, fearing the fractures it could cause in their fragile community. His hesitation cast a shadow over the group's resolve as the gravity of their discovery sank in. Mara met his doubts with steely determination, her silver-streaked hair catching the dim light as she vowed to see the truth brought into the open. She believed that only by confronting the past could they hope to heal their fractured bonds. Her resolve ignited a flicker of hope amidst the tension, solidifying her role as their leader. Suddenly, the fragile trust that had held them together shattered when an unexpected betrayal surfaced from within their own group. A subtle, almost imperceptible act revealed hidden motives, throwing suspicion in every direction. The betrayal threatened to unravel all they had worked towards, demanding reckoning and clarity. In a surprising moment, Nina confessed her true motives, linking her actions to a solemn promise made to the watchmaker years before. Her fidgeting hands betrayed the weight of her secret, yet her eyes remained resolute. This revelation added a new layer of complexity, binding their fates even tighter with threads woven long ago. The watchmaker's voice seemed to echo through the shadows, guiding them with a riddle that wove together themes of time and memory. His meticulous hands, though unseen, felt present in the silence as they pondered the cryptic words. This counsel offered a path forward, shaping the next chapter of their intertwined journey. With renewed purpose, Mara reached out to Elias, bridging the gulf that had formed between them. Their reconciliation was quiet but firm, a mutual acknowledgement of the dangers they faced and the strength needed to overcome them. Together with Nina, they formed a united front against the threats closing in. They raced through rain-slicked streets, desperate to retrieve a final piece of evidence before it could be snatched away by darker forces. Every moment felt borrowed, the clocks ticking a stark reminder of time slipping through their fingers. Their combined skills and determination fueled the pursuit, driven by nerves and hope alike. A fierce storm raged outside, rain beating against the windows as the antique clocks within the safe room began to chime in perfect unison. The symphony of ticking hands grew louder, signaling the climax of their quest was near. Inside, tension and anticipation mingled, as moments stretched beyond themselves in the storm's heart. Hidden within an old ledger, they uncovered a detailed account of familial tragedies, betrayals concealed, and truths covered up for generations. The pages revealed the causes and consequences of past actions, painting a sorrowful picture of sacrifice and deceit. This knowledge brought clarity, but at a heavy emotional cost for all involved. Suddenly, the shadows coalesced into figures intent on silencing their discoveries forever. The trio found themselves cornered, the sinister presence closing in swiftly and without mercy. Adrenaline surged as instincts took over, turning their hunt for truth into a battle for survival. Drawing on the watchmaker's riddles, Mara deftly outmaneuvered their pursuers, using her knowledge of time and memory as a weapon. Each step and decision was calculated, turning the labyrinthine station into a maze their enemies could not navigate. Her sharp mind and steady resolve kept them one step ahead in the deadly game. In a moment of selfless courage, Nina created a diversion, drawing the adversaries away with quick thinking and fearless resolve. Her actions bought Mara and Elias precious seconds to escape, though at great personal risk. This sacrifice underscored the deep bonds forged in trust and shared purpose. Safely ensconced in a secluded room, the trio pored over the ledger's contents, preparing to expose the painful truths to the world. Each detail was matched with mounting urgency, their words poised to unite or divide their community. The weight of their responsibility settled heavy as they planned the inevitable reveal. Mara hesitated, her silver hair catching the flickering candlelight, as she wrestled with the cost of unveiling the truth. She knew that once revealed, the community's fragile peace could shatter, igniting conflict and old wounds anew. Her inner turmoil reflected the difficult balance between transparency and protection. Flashbacks unfolded, revealing the watchmaker's past efforts to shield the family from ruin through careful silence and guarded secrets. His meticulous hands had crafted more than just clocks, they held time's fragile story within, preserving legacies through subtle measures. These memories cast a new light on his guidance and sacrifices. With renewed clarity, Mara reconciled her protective instinct with her commitment to honesty. Her resolve strengthened, embracing the painful necessity of revelation as a path to healing and reconciliation. This inner peace fortified her for the challenging road ahead. Together, Elias aided Mara in drafting a heartfelt letter intended to unite the fractured family and their community through truth and compassion. Their joint effort symbolized a tentative truce, a bridge built with trust and understanding. Each word was chosen with care, carrying the weight of hope for a reconciled future. At last, the broken pocket watch was carefully repaired, its steady ticking resonating through the quiet room. The rhythm symbolized restored balance and mercy, a tangible sign that time could heal even the deepest wounds. The watch's heartbeat marked a new beginning, threading together past and present with cautious optimism. In the town square, Mara stands before a gathered crowd, her voice steady yet filled with emotion. She recounts the long-hidden family history, unveiling truths wrapped in pain and regret, and asks for understanding and forgiveness. The broken pocket watch in her hand glints in the fading light, symbolizing the fragments of time now pieced together. As Mara's words settle, the community's reactions ripple through the crowd. Some people nod slowly, their faces softening with empathy, while others tighten their jaws, recoiling in shock and denial. Whispers spread, mixing acceptance with doubt, reflecting the complexity of embracing a complicated past. Through the murmurs, Elias steps forward beside Mara, his weathered leather jacket catching the evening breeze. His quiet support is palpable, a protective presence that reveals both loyalty and the vulnerability of standing firm amid judgment. His gaze meets Mara's, silently conveying strength and shared burden. Nina fiddles nervously with a small gear, then reveals she has been quietly preserving the family's legacy in her own way. Her role as keeper of the overlooked truths earns her cautious respect from those previously doubtful. The community begins to see her curiosity not as trouble, but as a bridge toward healing. Later, Mara visits the shaded grave of the watchmaker, the man who once taught her to value time's intricate layers. She places the broken pocket watch gently on the weathered stone, a tribute to the past and those who guide from beyond. The watchmaker's grave seems to hold the silent wisdom of countless hours and secrets shared. As twilight turns into night, the old clock tower in the heart of the town chimes, its sound clear and true. Miraculously, all the clocks in town align with its rhythm, their hands moving in synchronized harmony. This resonance breathes new life into the community, symbolizing unity restored after long discord. Walking through familiar streets, Mara senses a subtle transformation around her. The air carries a quiet promise, as neighbors exchange tentative smiles and old rifts begin fading like shadows at dawn. Her heart swells with hope, recognizing the first threads of rebuilding woven through everyday moments. In a moment of shared silence, Mara and Elias stand side by side beneath the glow of the clock tower. They acknowledge the scars etched by the past, but also the new beginning forged from honest surrender. Their connection deepens, a testament to enduring resilience amid change. Back in the dusty workshop, Nina carefully begins mending aged clocks, her nimble fingers coaxing life back into broken mechanisms. Her curiosity has shifted from restless questions to a healing craft, bridging the community's fractured timeline. Each ticking clock she restores is a quiet melody of renewal and hope. The story closes on the restored pocket watch, its delicate hands moving steadily and softly marking time. Its gentle ticking echoes the endless cycles of life, memories, and truths that layer one upon another. In this sound lies the subtle promise of forgiveness, continuity, and new stories yet to unfold. At twilight, Emma found the old elm tree glowing faintly in her backyard, an eerie blue light pulsing from its trunk. Drawn closer, she heard soft whispers, words floating like leaves in the wind. "Help us, trapped." Emma reached out, touching the bark, and suddenly the world twisted, colors inverted, sounds warped. She landed in a shadowy realm beneath the bark, where ghostly figures shimmered, fading in and out like mist. One spirit, a woman with eyes full of sorrow, spoke. "We are bound here, souls caught by a curse long forgotten." Emma nodded, sensing urgency. "How do I free you?" The woman pointed to a knot glowing crimson. "Find the root talisman buried beneath the roots, a relic holding our chains." Emma crawled through twisted branches and gnarled roots, each step uneasy, as whispers grew louder, pressing on her mind. At the base, she unearthed a small, ancient box, carved with symbols pulsing with power. Inside lay a pendant shaped like a crescent moon, shimmering with otherworldly energy. As Emma lifted it, the whispers shifted to screams, the spirit's forms becoming more vivid, desperate. She placed the talisman back against the knot. Light exploded, the spirits howled, then stilled. A wave of calm washed over her as the blue light turned warm and golden, the whispers now gentle murmurs of thanks. The woman smiled, fading peacefully. "You've given us rest, the curse is broken." Emma emerged from beneath the tree, the night feeling softer, lighter than before. She glanced back at the elm, its bark now ordinary, but in her pocket the talisman pulsed faintly. "Some stories need a believer," she whispered, and as she walked inside, the wind carried a gentle sigh, no longer a plea but gratitude. The next day, neighbors noticed the tree seemed taller, stronger, like a silent guardian watching over the street. Emma smiled, knowing some secrets weren't meant to stay buried forever. Dave decided today was the day he'd finally win the office chair race. It was an unofficial but fiercely competitive event held every Friday at 4:59 p.m. Rules were simple. Grab your chair, push off from your desk, and race to the break room. Dave's opponent, Linda, was a veteran chair racer with a customized seat cushion and laser focus. As the clock neared 4:59, coworkers gathered, phones ready to record the epic showdown. Ready, set, go. the manager shouted, barely hiding his excitement. Dave launched forward, wheels squeaking loudly, but Linda zoomed ahead, her chair almost gliding. Suddenly, Dave's chair hit a rogue paperclip, spinning him around like a top. "Whoa!" he exclaimed, narrowly missing a stack of reports and an alarmed intern. Linda took the lead, but looked back with a grin as Dave struggled to regain control. Determined, Dave gave his chair a mighty shove and caught up to her by the water cooler. They were neck and neck, laughter bubbling up amid wheeling chaos. In a final burst, Dave aimed for the finish line, but his chair's wheel caught on a carpet edge. Time seemed to slow as he tipped backward, landing softly in a pile of empty coffee cups. The office erupted in laughter. Linda declared the victor, but everyone cheered Dave's spectacular effort. Next week, Dave promised, brushing coffee off his shirt, "I'm bringing training wheels." The manager handed Dave a consolation prize, a golden paperclip and a Best Perseverance ribbon. As the office returned to normal, the chairs awaited their next race, eagerly and quietly spinning. Dave couldn't wait to get back on his chair and spin his way to glory, carefully this time. And so, the great office chair caper became legendary, reminding everyone that sometimes, falling is just part of the fun. The village stirred beneath a sky where faint circular star patterns traced ancient constellations. Orin moved quietly through the morning mist, his footsteps soft as he approached the weathered stone circle at the village edge. From the shadows, Wren observed Orin with keen eyes, gripping the glowing pendant passed down from their grandmother. The orb's gentle light pulsed in rhythm with the restless beat of Wren's heart. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath the stone circle, causing startled gasps to ripple through the nearby villagers. Dust and debris stirred, as the earth seemed to shudder with an unspoken warning. Orin gathered the elders, his voice low and grave as he spoke of a breach in the veil, the fragile boundary between their world and the unknown. Concern knitted their faces as each contemplated the consequences. Wren felt a strange pulse emanate from the pendant, the orb flickering with eerie light that seemed to echo the unsettled air. An inexplicable chill ran through them, as if the pendant carried a living warning. A shadow glided at the edge of the stone circle, barely perceptible against the dawn's light. Murmurs of forgotten warnings spread among the villagers, their eyes darting nervously toward the fleeting darkness. At the village border, the Veiled One appeared briefly, shrouded in dark fabric, unmoving and silent. Their presence was enigmatic and unsettling before they vanished as suddenly as they had come. Orin confirmed an ancient prophecy that linked the cycles of falling stars to the pendant's glowing orb. The alignment of these celestial events signaled a pivotal moment long foretold in their lore. Determined, Wren demanded to leave the village to seek answers beyond the distant mountains, clutching the pendant tightly as their guide. Their restless spirit burned brighter with resolve despite the unknown challenges ahead. The elders cautioned Wren of labyrinthine paths that spiral and twist, trapping souls in endless night. They warned that illusions laid by the veil might confound even the most vigilant traveler. As dusk fell, Wren departed, the rising wind swirling with patterns of glowing dust in circular arrays. Each step forward felt heavy with the weight of destiny and the pendant's steady pulse. Orin remained behind, meticulously tracing ancient inscriptions carved into the stone circle. Their worn surface whispered secrets of forgotten eras and the burden of the veil's weakening hold. Wren soon encountered a forest tangled with trees whose rings swirled unnaturally, resembling ripples on still water. The distorted nature of this place unsettled the senses and hinted at the veil's warping influence. A disembodied voice echoed nearby, bearing the cadence of the Veiled One. It spoke in riddles that questioned Wren's identity and the nature of their fate, weaving confusion with eerie familiarity. In a secluded clearing, the pendant's light surged in intensity, revealing a hidden gateway adorned with intricate circular motifs. The portal shimmered with otherworldly energy, beckoning Wren to step through. Crossing the gateway, Wren experienced a distortion of landscape and time, where moments fractured and endlessly repeated. Each loop brought a growing sense of disorientation and urgency to break free. Meanwhile, Orin uncovered an ancient manuscript that warned of the veil's erosion with every cycle of falling stars. The tome's fragile pages cautioned that balance is imperiled if the breach remains unchecked. Wren found a group of travelers trapped within the loop time, their memories fragmented like shards of shattered glass. Their despair and confusion mirrored the peril of the endless spiral closing in. The Veiled One appeared briefly beside Ren, whispering cryptic truths about the intricate weave of destiny. Their words hinted at choices with profound consequences, yet left much shrouded in mystery. Abruptly, Ren's pendant dimmed, plunging them into shadow and deepening their confusion. Doubts surged, shaking the fragile trust in the pendant's guidance and the credibility of their journey. Descending into caverns beneath the stone circle, Orin discovered inscriptions aligned with celestial circles directly overhead. The sacred geometry, etched in stone, hinted at a powerful connection to the veil's stability. With renewed hope, Ren sensed the pendant's pulsing light reignite, its compass-like glow cutting through the shifting terrain. The path forward became clearer, despite the illusions that sought to mislead. The Veiled One then presented a stark choice: grasp at uncertain hope or surrender to the endless spiral of despair. Their voice echoed softly, tempting yet haunting in its quiet inevitability. Refusing to yield, Ren wielded the pendant to reveal hidden symbols etched in glowing circles on the forest floor. These marks formed a secret map, offering guidance amidst the twisting maze of illusions. Back at the village, Orin deciphered that the pendant's glowing orb contained a trapped essence vital for restoring balance. This revelation deepened the importance of the pendant and foreshadowed the trials ahead. Ren stumbled upon a still pool nestled in the shadowed grove, its surface shimmering with reflections not of the world around, but of multiple versions of themselves. Each circular ripple seemed to capture a different possible path their restless spirit might take, weaving a tapestry of choices that danced in the quiet water. From the edges of shadow, the Veiled One's presence grew more tangible, their silhouette expanding and twisting, distorting the space between reality and illusion. The gentle echo of their voice melded with swirling mists, seeding doubt and turning certainty into a fragile veil. Beneath the descending stars, Orin knelt before a ring inscribed with circular runes, arranging the ancient symbols with deliberate care. His silver-streaked black hair shimmered faintly under the pale light as he prepared the ritual that might steady the unraveling threads between worlds. Ren hesitated, then chose to diverge from the reflections in the pool, stepping boldly into a shadow that twisted and unfurled into glowing spirals. The darkness did not consume but transformed, each luminous circle illuminating new facets of a path unforeseen. As Orin began intoning the ritual's chant, a voice rose from the ancient manuscript laid before him, blending with his words and weaving harmony. This primal resonance caused the orb in his grasp to pulsate, its glow stretching and deepening beyond mortal reach. Lost within shifting scenes, Ren found themselves wandering a village that never was, streets bending and buildings reshaping, a haunting mirage of what might have been. The line between memory and deception blurred, each circle marking a fractured truth or veil's wily trickery. Orin's ritual pulse cracked open the earth beneath the solitary stone circle, revealing a hidden chamber. Inside, circular mirrors lined the walls, each reflecting infinite skies that shimmered with the promise of worlds beyond comprehension. From shadow materialized a spectral form, mirroring Ren's own fears as flickering circles splintered in the air between them. Each confrontation smashed another ring of light, a relentless cycle of challenge and resilience under the restless gaze of the moon. Amongst scattered fragments, Orin discovered a piece of the orb's lost counterpart, a small, etched sphere bearing concentric rings. This fragment throbbed quietly, hinting it was the key needed to unlock the pendant's full power. With a steady hand, Ren harnessed the pendant's renewed glow, sweeping away illusions like mist scattered before dawn. For a fleeting heartbeat, the Veiled One's lips curled into a rare, enigmatic smile, a silent affirmation of paths converging. As Orin completed the ritual, the energies swelling between them caused the skies of their realms to meld, colors and patterns twisting in tandem. Though apart in body, their journey now intertwined metaphorically, bound by the glowing orb's inexorable pulse. The ancient stone circle erupted with luminous energy, its concentric rings ascending like tethered stars against the night's velvet canvas. Circles of light spiraled higher, a heartbeat in the darkness signaling awakening. Within the wavering form of the Veiled One, glimpses of a face emerged, marked by intricate circular tattoos identical to those etched on village stones. The fleeting reveal carried a weight of forgotten histories and silent vows. Ren's restless heart paused with understanding. The Veiled One was no adversary, but a guardian bound by eternal cycles. This keeper upheld balance, weaving the fragile threads between veils seen and unseen. Through the burgeoning brilliance of the glowing orb, Orin and Ren shared visions, fragments of insight and understanding flowing freely between them. Words became unnecessary as a deeper bond formed, tethered by circles of light and shadow alike. A fierce storm roared into being, winds swirling in violent circular torrents aimed at unraveling the stone circle's power. Their faith and resolve trembled under the tempest's assault, the cycle's stability put to its fiercest test yet. Amidst the chaos, Ren raised the pendant's light, turning it into a beacon that cut through the wrathful night. Guided by this luminous pulse, villagers found sanctuary within the protective embrace of the stone circle. Orin's hands moved with finality, placing both orb fragments into the circle's heart, where light met shadow. The fusion sparked a surge, melding power with grace, and the ancient magic whispered of renewal and unity. Stepping fully into the luminous embrace, the Veiled One unveiled a serene face, timeless and calm. Their presence declared a balance restored, a cycle completed without fracture or loss. As the sky cleared, the patterns of circular stars pulsed rhythmically once more, their glow weaving the fabric of the mended veil. This celestial dance marked the completion of a sacred cycle, echoing through both night and dawn. Bathed in dawn's golden, circular glow, Orin and Ren stood before the village, embodiments of hope and renewal. Their journey reflected in their eyes was one of unity between realms and the promise of what lay ahead. The pendant, now whole and radiant, was shared equally between them, a symbol of unity bridging earthly and mystical realms. Its glow a testament to their intertwined fates and shared guardianship. Villagers gathered, hands crafting new tokens, adorned with circular motifs that shimmered with inherited power. These creations commemorated the cycle's renewal, binding community with ancient legacy. Orin imparted to Ren the songs and stories woven into the circular patterns, melodies and tales that held the wisdom of many generations. In this transfer, legacy was ensured, and their bond deepened through shared purpose. Without a word, the Veiled One departed quietly into the mists, leaving behind a single circular feather resting upon the village stones. This token stood as a silent promise of guarded peace and the eternal watch kept over the circle's ward. As the pendant pulsates softly in Orin's hand, a concealed vision unfolds before them, revealing the eternal nature of the cycles. Shadows and light dance together, showing the pendant's glow fading and rekindling with each passing night in an endless loop. Ren's restless gaze steadies, a quiet understanding dawning as they accept the perpetual journey ahead. Alongside Orin, they embrace their role as keepers who guard the fragile balance through countless circles yet to come. The villagers gather at dawn, crafting a new stone circle in the heart of their home. At its center, they embed the pendant's twin glowing orbs, a powerful talisman fashioned to protect and honor what has been passed down. The final scene shifts beyond the village, where circles emerge in natural wonders worldwide. Ripples in water, rings of trees, and wind-carved patterns in stone, connecting this small place's fate to the vast world beyond. Orin stands quietly beneath a spreading oak, their eyes tracing the delicate circles traced in earth and bark. In these patterns, they see the balance between the visible world and the mysteries lurking just out of sight, always entwined. Ren turns their gaze upward to the stars, the pendant warm against their chest. The glow feels like a silent vow, a steady promise to remain vigilant against any unraveling of the delicate weave they protect. Night deepens, but this time the stars above swirl gracefully in perfect circles. Their light remains steady and reassuring, a celestial echo of the cycles held sacred below. Under the silver glow of dawn, villagers dance in flowing, circular patterns, their steps weaving ancient rhythms anew. Each movement honors the legacy, breathing life into the cycle once more with joyous celebration. The story gently closes on a child, eyes wide with wonder, discovering a small glowing circle etched faintly into their palm. This mark, subtle yet profound, signifies the enduring legacy of the cycle continuing through generations. As the camera pans upward, The swirling stars gather to form one great luminous circle, vast and radiant. This celestial symbol unites completion with endless beginnings, a timeless testament to the circle's eternal dance. The evening fog curled around the old clock tower as Eliza crept closer, clutching the folded letter in her hand. Her heart pounded with every step. The letter promised a secret buried for decades, hidden right beneath the ticking face above. Old Man Grayson's cryptic warning echoed in her mind. Not all timekeepers guard moments. Some keep shadows. Eliza reached the iron door at the tower's base, her fingers trembling as she found the rusted key taped under the ledge. The door creaked open, revealing a spiral staircase that disappeared into darkness and dust. She took a deep breath and descended, the faint sound of the clock's ticking growing louder in her ears. Midway down, a glimmer caught her eye, a small leather pouch tucked into a crack on the wall. Inside, she found a collection of strange keys and a worn diary belonging to her grandfather, a man she barely knew. Flipping through, cryptic notes mapped a hidden compartment beneath the clock's mechanism. Her fingers quickly found the latch, releasing a panel that revealed a shaded alcove bathed in moonlight. Inside lay an old photograph and a delicate music box, its surface etched with a family crest she recognized. As she opened the music box, a haunting melody filled the silent tower, swirling memories of forgotten days. Eliza's eyes welled up. The photograph showed her grandmother, smiling beneath the clock tower, long before it was abandoned. A folded note inside the box read, "Time seals what the heart never forgets." She realized the secret wasn't gold or jewels, but the preservation of a family's love frozen in time. With a soft smile, Eliza wound the clock's mechanism to resume its silent vigil. The morning light illuminated the tower as she stepped out, the town oblivious to the quiet restoration. Eliza whispered, "Some mysteries aren't lost, they are waiting to be found." As the clock chimed at dawn, she clutched her grandfather's diary close, a new story just beginning. And somewhere in the distance, the clock tower kept its steady beat, a heartbeat echoing through the years. Marvin stands before the mirror, his fingers gently stroking the proud, thick curls of his mustache. He adjusts his round spectacles and contemplates the day ahead, feeling ready for any challenge. Leela bursts into the apartment with a grin, holding up a brightly colored invitation to a mustache competition. "Uncle Marvin, you have to enter," she exclaims, her pink hair bouncing with excitement. Marvin smiles confidently, tightening his yellow and green striped tie, a sure sign of his determined mood. "I'll win it again this year," he declares with pride. He carefully arranges his grooming tools on the cluttered desk, while Mr. Whiskers slinks silently behind, eyeing the gleaming mustache comb with suspicious intent. With one final glance at the mirror, Marvin waves goodbye to Leela, who promises to guard the apartment and keep everything just right. Marvin steps onto the bustling city street, his stride confident and purposeful as he heads toward the competition venue, buzzing with excitement. Midway through his walk, Marvin suddenly freezes, feeling an uncanny lightness on his face where his mustache should be. Confused, he stops in his tracks. He peers into a shop window reflection and gasps. His cherished, curly mustache has completely vanished without a trace. In a surge of panic, Marvin sprints back home, overturning piles of vintage knickknacks and hunting all corners for any clue to his missing mustache. Leela arrives with a determined gleam in her eye, just as Marvin inspects his grooming kit through his magnifying glass, vowing to uncover the mystery at all costs. Mr. Whiskers flicks his tail leisurely, knocking Marvin's mustache comb off the table with a deliberate swish, watching their reactions carefully. Leela crouches near the windowsill and points to tiny strands of hair left behind, suggesting that the aloof tabby may be involved in the disappearance. Determined, Marvin sets up a variety of comical traps around the apartment, from sticky mustache-shaped nets to jars of swirling potions, hoping to catch the elusive thief. Despite the efforts, Mr. Whiskers nimbly evades every trap, slipping through false walls and darting beneath furniture, while Marvin and Leela grow increasingly frustrated and weary. The hours tick down toward the competition, tension mounting as Marvin feels the pressure of reclaiming his identity and pride before it's too late. Seeking alternative help, Marvin and Leela visit an eccentric local barber who offers a strange, temporary fake mustache potion with wild promises. Marvin tries the potion nervously, but it causes his mustache to wiggle uncontrollably like a living creature, drawing amused stares and creating a public spectacle they hadn't anticipated. Embarrassed and frustrated, Marvin ditches the potion and decides to pursue leads outside, scanning the streets for anything resembling his lost mustache. Along a crowded street, Marvin spots a stranger sporting a suspiciously familiar curly mustache that seems oddly out of place, stirring Marvin's suspicion. Confronting the man, Marvin receives evasive answers, but the man inadvertently reveals a hidden stash of mustache wax, intensifying the mystery. Leela connects the dots, proposing that this man could be part of a mustache smuggling ring, explaining the strange disappearance. Following a trail of wax droplets that glisten along the pavement, they arrive at a shadowy underground hideout filled with peculiar mustache-related artifacts. Hidden inside, they overhear hushed voices discussing an exclusive mustache auction scheduled for that very evening, offering a crucial lead. Realizing their slim chance to recover the mustache, Marvin and Leela swiftly plan to infiltrate the auction, crafting disguises to pass as eccentric collectors. Donning flamboyant costumes adorned with exaggerated fake mustaches, they step into the shadowy auction room, blending into a crowd of curious enthusiasts. At the auction, Marvin's eyes fixate on a small, intriguing box labeled "The Finest Curly Mustache." His heart races, seeing a chance to reclaim what he lost. The box seems almost enchanted, promising a secret to his missing mustache. Marvin nervously raises his bid among a crowd of dubious bidders, cloaked in shadows and whispers. Each increase tightens the knot of tension in his stomach. Suddenly, a mysterious figure outbids him at the last moment, their identity hidden by a wide-brimmed hat and darkness. Refusing to give up, Marvin signals Leela with a glance. In response, she theatrically sways and collapses dramatically at the auction floor, drawing all eyes towards her. Instant uproar erupts as bidders rush to Leela's side, concerned for her sudden faint. The distraction creates a perfect moment for Marvin to stealthily slip the coveted box into his coat pocket. Back in a quiet corner, Marvin eagerly opens the box, only to find a cryptic note inside. It reads, "Look close in your own reflection," leaving Marvin puzzled and intrigued. Perplexed, Marvin pulls out his trusty pocket mirror and lifts it toward his face. Behind him, Mr. Whiskers sits calmly, licking his fur in a peculiar, deliberate manner that catches Marvin's eye. Suddenly, Marvin notices a tuft of his curly mustache clinging stubbornly to Mr. Whiskers' striped collar. The revelation dawns like a bolt of lightning. The cat is involved. The trio quickly pieces it together. Mr. Whiskers must have playfully swiped the mustache earlier, unknowingly causing the great disappearance. Marvin can't help but chuckle at the feline's mischievous role. Back in his cluttered vintage apartment, Marvin tenderly massages conditioner into his chin. He's hopeful, if a bit skeptical, wishing for even the slightest sign of regrowth before the next competition. Leela, ever inventive, whips up a quirky mustache growth potion using random kitchen ingredients. She presents it to Marvin with a mischievous grin, dubbing it their last, humorous hope. Marvin applies the homemade concoction cautiously, his fingers crossed beneath his perfectly striped yellow and green tie. Despite his skepticism, there's a glimmer of hope in his eyes. To their amazement, tiny hairs begin sprouting unevenly across Marvin's upper lip. The patchy new look is amusing if nothing else, but it breathes new life into his confidence. Emboldened by his unique growth, Marvin straightens his tie and adjusts his spectacles. He sets off determined to embrace this quirky new mustache at the competition venue. Upon arrival, the crowd bursts into laughter and cheers at Marvin's half-grown, unconventional mustache. The warm welcome deflates his nerves and fills him with unexpected pride. During the contest, Marvin captivates the audience with a witty speech about humor and acceptance. His charm and honesty resonate deeply, transforming the event's atmosphere. The judges, thoroughly entertained and impressed, award Marvin a special, most original mustache prize. It's a surprising twist that celebrates creativity over perfection. Beside him, Leela beams with pride while Mr. Whiskers purrs contentedly. Marvin's grin stretches wider than ever, his spirit lifted by their shared victory. The enigmatic auction figure reappears, stepping out of the shadows with a kind smile. They reveal themselves as a retired mustache champion, commending Marvin's admirable spirit. They hand Marvin an old photo album filled with bold, eccentric mustache styles from decades past. The images spark a newfound inspiration to explore diverse, playful looks in the days ahead. Marvin expresses heartfelt thanks to Leela and Mr. Whiskers. He realizes that sometimes unexpected mishaps blossom into remarkable adventures filled with laughter and growth. Back home, the trio settles into familiar comfort as Marvin carefully tends to his regrowing mustache. The cluttered apartment feels warmer, echoing their shared bond and triumph. Inspired, Leela begins a scrapbook titled Marvin's Mustache Mysteries, capturing every quirky moment of their journey. It's a testament to their camaraderie and Marvin's unmatched mustache saga. Mr. Whiskers curls up cozily on Marvin's lap, sporting a tiny, comically fake mustache crafted by Leela. The sight elicits chuckles and a sense of playfulness that fills the room. Marvin practices various mustache styles in the mirror, each more whimsical than the last. His striped yellow and green tie remains impeccably in place, matching his light-hearted mood. The apartment soon buzzes with laughter and cheer as they prepare a small celebration party. Quirky mustache-themed decorations dangle from the ceiling, marking an unforgettable chapter in Marvin's life. Suddenly, a letter slid gracefully under Marvin's cluttered apartment door, its envelope sealed with an elaborate mustache emblem that immediately caught his meticulous eye. He picked it up, intrigued by this unexpected delivery amidst his familiar vintage surroundings. Inside the envelope, Marvin discovered an elegant invitation to the International Mustache Festival, beckoning him to showcase his signature bushy, curly mustache among the world's finest. This was the next grand challenge he had been unknowingly awaiting. Leela bounced with excitement, her bright pink hair shaking as she suggested they travel together to the festival, igniting dreams of mustache adventures spanning the globe. Marvin's heart warmed at the idea of sharing this whimsical journey with his lively niece. With focused energy, Marvin packed his cherished grooming kit, carefully placing his magnifying glass, assorted potion bottles, and the ever-important mustache comb inside. Ready for mystery and maintenance alike, he prepared to face whatever surprises the festival might hold. Mr. Whiskers, ever the aloof companion, lazily inspected a new batch of mustache wax on the windowsill, his patch-over-one-eye gaze hinting that he too would join in on their next escapade. The tabby's subtle chaos was always part of their story. Marvin took a reflective moment before the mirror to admire his fully regrown mustache, now showing a distinguished hint of silver at the tips of its curls. This sign of time added character to his ever-prized facial feature, a symbol of his enduring spirit. A gentle smile spread across Marvin's face as he thought back. Losing his mustache had taught him to find joy beyond appearances and embrace life's unexpected turns with grace. The tie around his neck, striped yellow and green, seemed to brighten in approval. The trio stepped out from the cozy, cluttered apartment onto the bustling city street, ready to embark on their upcoming journey together. The air was filled with promise, and their spirits danced in unison with the crowd's lively rhythm. Behind them, a stray curl of hair floated lazily in the gentle breeze, a playful reminder that every grand adventure begins with a single, seemingly insignificant strand. It twirled like the start of a new story, yet to be told. The scene faded out with Marvin adjusting his striped tie confidently, Leela grinning mischievously, and Mr. Whiskers trailing silently behind. United and spirited, they were all set for whatever curious mysteries awaited them next. Ella steps through the village boundary, her silver locket catching the fading light and reflecting a faint shimmer. The air feels heavier here, as if the land itself is holding its breath just before twilight. Near the ancient hollow oak, Rowan lifts his wooden whistle to his lips and plays a strange, haunting melody. The tune echoes softly, a call to something hidden just beyond sight among the gnarled branches and shadows. Old Man Garin approaches Ella with a grave look, his twisted walking stick tapping the ground. He warns her that as dusk falls, the woods begin whispering secrets, and the shadows that stretch from the oak should never be trusted. As the sun dips behind the trees, long shadows creep unnaturally across the cobblestones, thickening near the oak's hollow. Darkness seems to ripple and stretch where no light should bend, unsettling the quiet village streets. Ella's silver locket suddenly chills against her skin, colder than the evening air. From the darkness, a faint, indecipherable whisper brushes past her ears, sending a shiver down her spine. Rowan rushes into the village square, breathless, reporting several village animals have vanished near the woods. A fearful hush spreads among the villagers, their eyes darting nervously toward the encroaching shadows. From deep within the village, the persistent ticking of an old clock grows louder, its echo filling the quiet night. The rhythmic talk strikes uneven beats, unease mounting with each distorted chime. Determined, Ella and Rowan prepare to confront the mystery of the hollow oak. Armed with a flashlight and Rowan's whistle, they step cautiously toward the boundary between safety and shadow. Just beyond the tree line, shadows flicker erratically, moving against the angles of natural light. Their dance is unnatural, unsettling, as if driven by some unknown will contrary to the day's fading rays. Suddenly, the warm night air chills unexpectedly, Ella's breath misting in front of her. Whispering shapes rise and circle around them, elusive and twisting like smoke on the wind. Old Man Garen's voice carries a warning as he recounts the legend of a shadowy being bound to the oak, sustained by the villagers' fear. His tale weaves dread through the night, making the darkness seem alive and watchful. Out of the shadows, dogs howl in terror before fleeing, their elongated shadows contorting grotesquely before fading into the night. Fear weighs heavier with each unnatural movement in the darkness. Rowan lifts his wooden whistle, blowing a sharp, piercing note that cuts through the gloom. The sound ripples outward, momentarily forcing the darkness to recoil and retreat from their immediate circle. Ella's silver locket begins to glow faintly, a soft light pulsing in response to the encroaching darkness. It seems attuned to the shadow's presence, reacting like a silent sentinel against the gloom. As midnight nears, nervous villagers barricade their doors and light candles, their flickering flames casting fragile halos against the growing black. The warm light serves as a fragile barrier, keeping the most malevolent shadows at bay. From the edge of the candlelight, Ella spots the shade, its form undulating with no fixed face, eyes glowing faintly like dying embers. It lurks just out of reach, watching and waiting for a moment to strike. In the darkness, Rowan panics as he discovers his wooden whistle is missing. The shadows creep closer in silence, and without his signal, fear starts to take deeper hold in their hearts. A sudden gust of cold wind sweeps through the village, snuffing out all the lit candles in an instant. The village plunges into pitch-black darkness, broken only by the ominous ticking filling the void. The eerie ticking of the distant clock begins to fluctuate wildly, slowing, then rapidly speeding up. This erratic rhythm disorients and unsettles those who hear it, twisting time into something uncanny. Against the chaotic ticking, Ella's silver locket pulses with bright, rhythmic flashes. It seems to challenge the erratic beat, its steady glow a beacon amid the distorted time and creeping fear. A whisper of cold breath brushes Ella's ear as the shade's voice, low and sibilant, tempts her with secrets hidden beneath the hollow oak. It promises truths to those brave enough to step below its roots alone. Rowan stumbles in the shadows to find a hidden path woven among the tree roots, leading deeper into darkness. Drawn with both curiosity and dread, the path promises answers no one else dares seek. The oldest lamps in the village flicker wildly, casting erratic light and stretching shadows that dance along the walls. The air thickens with unease as the darkness seems to mock the fragile defenses of light. Though hesitation grips her heart, Ella clutches her glowing locket tightly and steps forward, crossing the threshold beneath the hollow oak. Each heartbeat echoes like the ticking clock as she follows the whisper's call into the unknown. Within the shifting shadows, Ella glimpses flickers of trapped villagers from the past, their silent faces pleading for release. The shade reveals its captive collection, a haunting gallery of lost souls entwined within its darkness. Rowan's voice echoed softly through the maze of roots, faint yet insistent, leading Ella deeper under the hollow oak's gnarled branches. Each call grew clearer, a beacon in the dim twilight where shadows clung like whispers. Ella tightened her grip on her silver locket, trusting the boy's guidance through the labyrinthine roots. An eerie clock struck 13, its chime impossible yet unmistakable, reverberating across the clearing with unnatural resonance. The ticking that enveloped them quickened, marking the thinning veil between time's threads. This haunting hour signaled the boundary where past and present entwined beneath the ancient oak. Ella's vision blurred, revealing fleeting memories of others caught in the shade's grasp. Each confrontation ended with silent vanishing and unopened eyes. The images flickered like shadows themselves, ghostly remnants of vanished souls. These past encounters whispered of fear and loss, locked within the tree's age-old roots. Rowan's fingers traced a carved symbol beneath layers of moss, its intricate design mirroring the emblem on Ella's silver locket. The hidden panel in the bark seemed almost alive beneath his touch, its meaning deep and urgent. This unexpected link promised a path, a shared secret binding their fates together. Around them, shadows stirred and bled into malformed faces, flickering with unstable life yet impossible to focus on fully. These ephemeral visages twisted and warped, like smoke caught in flickering candlelight, hinting at torment and despair. The air grew heavier, thick with silent pleadings woven into the darkness. Drawing on a surge of courage, Ella reached out to touch the carved symbol. Her fingertips met the rough wood, steady and warm. Suddenly, the earth beneath the hollow oak trembled, a low rumble resonating through the roots and into their bones. The connection felt alive, a bridge bridging shadow and flesh. The shade recoiled, its form condensing into a dense, foreboding mass that radiated menace. Shadows thickened, swirling with malevolent energy, as though angered by Ella's audacity. Its intangible presence now grew oppressive, suffocating the little light that lingered beneath the canopy. Rowan seized his wooden whistle, holding it as shadows encroached, then blew a piercing, desperate note. The sound shattered the darkness momentarily, scattering the shadowy faces like mist in dawn's first light. The fleeting reprieve bolstered their spirits even as anticipation churned in the air. Between Ella's locket and the carved symbol, a glowing thread appeared, pulsing slowly like a heartbeat. Its gentle light wove through the darkness, a fragile but undeniable link uniting past and present. The thread's rhythm synced with the old clock's ticking, drawing power from both time and memory. Emerging from the veil of trees, Old Man Garin began chanting an ancient verse, his voice low and resonant. His words carried strength, a call to awaken the spirits of the village and fortify their resolve. The air around him shimmered with age-old power, binding those present with shared determination. One by one, villagers lit candles, their flames flickering to life simultaneously in a unified defiance. The combined glow pushed back shadows inch by inch, carving space for hope amidst despair. The hollow oak stood illuminated, a battleground of light against creeping darkness. The ticking of the old clock accelerated, matching the pulsing glow emanating from Ella's silver locket. Time itself seemed to quicken, heartbeat and second hand entwined in urgent rhythm. This symphony of light and sound heralded a turning point beneath the ancient boughs. The shade lunged toward Rowan with desperate fury, its dark limbs grasping for the boy. But Rowan slipped away swiftly, darting into the village square where open light and life beckoned. The momentary breach left the shade agitated, its form writhing in shadowed frustration. Beneath the hollow oak, Ella faced the shade, her locket held aloft as a beacon of light. She stood steady in the dark, unyielding despite the fear gnawing within. The silver gleamed, casting sharp reflections that fractured the shadows around her. The shadows twisted before her eyes, revealing a memory warped by pain, a betrayal that bound the shade to this place. Faces contorted in anguish, a bond forged in sorrow and regret lingering beneath the gnarled roots. This revelation seeped like poison through the fractured darkness. Rowan and villagers formed a circle around the tree, hands joined and voices softly humming a steady, soothing melody. Their unity created a shield of warmth and light, reinforcing Ella's stand against the shadowy force. The harmony wove a protective barrier stronger than any single candle's glow. The shade's form flickered erratically, sorrow washing over its face before it began to fracture and dissolve. The fractured shadows splintered, losing coherence, as if the sorrow itself unraveled its dark essence. The force that once loomed threateningly now faltered, its presence fading like a dying breath. From Ella's locket burst a blinding light that pierced the darkness, scattering shadow and smoke alike. The sudden brilliance banished the lingering forms with fierce clarity, cleansing the hollow oak beneath which they had gathered. Light filled the space where fear and shadow had once dwelled. A profound silence followed, the incessant ticking ceasing abruptly as calm returned to the village. Moonlight bathed the clearing, serene and pure after the night's turmoil. The air felt lighter, charged with a peace that had seemed impossible just moments before. Exhausted, Ella collapsed, the silver locket resting warm against her chest once again. Dawn broke over the horizon, casting soft golden hues through the trees and promising a new beginning. Relief and weariness mingled in the quiet aftermath of their ordeal. Rowan knelt where the hollow oak had stood, discovering a small sprout glowing faintly with vibrant life. This fragile shoot seemed a symbol of renewal, the forest's promise of healing and hope reborn. Its gentle radiance breathed comfort into the cool morning air. One by one, villagers emerged from their homes, faces marked by relief yet touched by the terror of the night. Silent glances passed between them, a shared understanding of what had transpired beneath the ancient tree. Life would go on, forever altered but resilient. Old Man Garin approached Ella, a solemn nod acknowledging the closing of an ancient curse at last. His weathered eyes reflected respect and gratitude for her bravery. The twisted walking stick tapped softly against the earth, a rhythm steady as new beginnings. Ella's silver locket remained unbroken, now humming softly with a gentle, warm light. It shimmered faintly, a token of strength and hope preserved through darkness. The locket's glow promised protection and memory entwined beneath its silver face. Rowan clutched his wooden whistle, aware that though the danger had passed, its call might be needed again someday. Yet hope warmed his heart more than fear, a belief in peace restored for their village. The whistle hung quietly at his side as dawn painted the sky with promise. Ella held her silver locket up to the dim light, explaining how its glow sealed the shade's power by binding shadow and time together. This ancient magic ensured that the dark entity could no longer slip through the cracks of the ticking moments. The villagers listened intently, their eyes reflecting both wonder and relief. Vowing to keep the hollow ground sacred, the villagers agreed to protect it from any future encroachment of darkness. Their whispered promises mingled with the soft wind, each determined to guard the fragile balance that held peace in their home. The memory of the shade would remain, but only as a warning etched in their hearts. Rowan knelt at the village center, carefully planting a glowing sprout whose light pulsed gently against the twilight. This living symbol of rebirth and safety would remind everyone of the harmony they now preserved. The little shoot seemed to breathe new life into the weary earth beneath its roots. Ella, no longer gripped by fear, felt a lasting connection to the woods and the shadows they contained. She stood watchful and calm, anticipating any ripple in the natural order rather than recoiling from it. Her silver locket shimmered quietly, a beacon of steady strength. Old Man Garin gathered the villagers to recount tales of courage past and caution against the lure of fear's return. His voice, steady as his twisted walking stick, urged vigilance and unity. Through his stories, the community understood the importance of facing darkness together, not alone. The old clock in the village square chimed 12 times, its steady tick and reassuring strike restoring normalcy to the air. Each chime echoed like a heartbeat, affirming that the unnatural ticking was at last silenced. Time flowed without disturbance, comforting every listening soul. As night settled in, shadows folded into their natural shapes, behaving without menace or mystery. The whispers on the wind faded, replaced by the gentle rustling of leaves and the night's tranquil breath. Darkness returned to a harmless cloak, a backdrop rather than a threat. Ella and Rowan sat quietly beside the glowing sprout, the silver locket resting between them with a faint, steady glow. Their shared presence spoke of friendship forged in challenge and hope blossoming anew. Together, they watched as the village breathed in peaceful silence. Throughout the village, restful sleep enveloped the people, dreams clear of whispering shadows or unsettling ticks. The nightmare of darkness receded, leaving only calm and comfort in its wake. The silence felt alive with gentle promise as the night deepened. When dawn's light filtered over the village rooftops, it cast a warm glow filled with hope and quiet strength. The land seemed to sigh in relief, renewed and steady after the trials faced. A new day began, bright and unshadowed, held safely beneath watchful eyes and hearts. Isla sat hunched over the ancient map, candlelight flickering across her face as her green eyes mirrored the vibrant blue glow of the small crystal in her hand. Every line and symbol held secrets she was desperate to unravel before darkness could claim more ground. The heavy wooden door creaked open, and Eldrick entered, clutching an old scroll marked with the ancient tree symbol. His voice carried urgency as he warned Isla to prepare, for the ominous darkening was no mere threat, it was a looming inevitability. Outside the quiet library, Kalen stood resolute, his dark braided hair shifting in the breeze as his sharp gaze swept the horizon. Dark clouds, unnatural and heavy, creeped forward, signaling the perils steadily approaching their village. The village square hummed with restless whispers, faces etched with fear as rumors of the encroaching darkness spread like wildfire. The once vibrant heart of their community now pulsed with unease and dread. Isla's fingers brushed against the Lumina crystal, which flickered weakly in response, its glow resembling a heartbeat struggling against an unseen force. Though cryptic, the pulse carried a message she could almost, but not quite comprehend. Eldrick leaned close, his spectacles catching the dim light as he recited the legend of the crystals of Veilora. These ancient stones, he explained, once maintained the fragile balance between light and darkness, a balance now on the verge of shattering. Together, Isla and Eldrick pored over the map, tracing a jagged route toward the lost crystal caverns rumored to lie hidden beyond the towering mountains. Their fingers pressed into worn parchment, mapping hope amid despair. Kalen adjusted the straps of his armor with practiced precision, his scarred face stoic yet tense. Each click and pull was a silent vow to protect, as he braced for the treacherous journey ahead. As night draped the land, tendrils of darkness seeped into the village outskirts, wilting the vibrant flowers that once painted the fields. The air thickened with a cold shadow, swallowing color and life beneath its weight. Suddenly, Isla felt the Lumina crystal surge with energy, its faint light blossoming into a warning. Through the twisting trees, she glimpsed a shadowy figure, watching silently from the distance, impossibly just beyond reach. Eldrick's expression darkened as he revealed the truth. The darkening was spreading at an unprecedented pace, faster than any record or prophecy had anticipated. Its unchecked advance threatened not just their village, but all living things. At dawn, beneath the sprawling branches of the village's ancient tree, the trio gathered to begin their perilous quest. The first light caught Isla's silver braid, the symbol of hope trailing behind their determined steps. Isla's Lumina crystal emitted a faint glow, casting pale light on the dense, shadowed forest path ahead. Every leaf and branch seemed alive, as if the very woods were watching and waiting. Without warning, twisted shadows lunged from the surrounding trees, their forms writhing with unnatural energy. Kalen sprang into action, drawing his sword to fend off the encroaching darkness with swift, precise strikes. They barely escaped the ambush, breaths ragged as the gravity of their mission settled heavier. It was clear now. The stakes of their quest extended far beyond personal safety. The fate of their world hung precariously in balance. Deeper within the forest, Isla noticed faint symbols glowing on the bark of ancient trees, their light pulsing gently like guiding stars. These marks seemed to respond to the crystal's resonance, carving a path through the dense wilderness. As Isla's crystal pulsed with growing strength, the forest around them shimmered, charged with a tangible magic. The air thrummed between light and shadow, filling their journey with both wonder and warning. Ahead, an ancient stone doorway emerged from the overgrowth, its surface etched with the familiar tree symbol, worn by time but defiantly intact. The passage beckoned them into secret realms forgotten by most. Eldrick lifted his amulet, its faint glow synchronizing with the door's carvings. With a whispered incantation, the stone doorway slowly creaked open, revealing a hidden cavern sparkling with countless shimmering crystals. Inside, a suffocating silence enveloped the trio, unnatural and heavy, broken suddenly by a deep, distant roar echoing from the cavern's depths. The sound reverberated through stone, stirring dread and resolve alike. Careful and deliberate, they descended into the cavern's heart, the walls illuminating softly as Isla raised the Lumina crystal higher. The gentle light danced over their surroundings, revealing secrets whispered in stone. Without warning, tremors shook the cavern violently. A large section collapsed behind them, dust clouding the dark air and sealing their only known exit, trapping them deeper within the Earth's embrace. Kaelin's keen eyes scanned ahead, noting faint footprints etched in the glittering dust, mingled with ominous claw marks. The signs whispered of creatures unknown and dangers lurking just out of sight. A spectral figure materialized briefly before them, translucent and ethereal, its voice a faint whisper carrying a cryptic warning. Then, as suddenly as it appeared, the apparition vanished, leaving behind a chilling silence. Driven by instinct, Isla placed her crystal upon an ancient altar. The stone vibrated beneath it, resonating deeply until a hidden pathway pulsed into revelation before them. With a mixture of fear and hope, they prepared to step into the unknown. The trio steps cautiously into a vast chamber where the darkness coils and writhes as if alive, swallowing the faint gleam of their crystals. The air is thick with unease, and every shadow seems to pulse with hidden threats. Isla tightens her grip on the Lumina crystal, its glow dim against the oppressive blackness. From this living darkness emerge twisted creatures, their bodies contorted and corrupted, yet their eyes glint faintly, tethered to some remaining spark of light. Their eerie forms shift unpredictably, reflecting a balance twisted toward shadow. The chamber feels alive with the struggle between illumination and void. Kaelin draws his sword with a steely resolve, engaging the creatures in frantic battle, his scarred face set in a determined grimace. Isla and Eldrick seize the moment, scouring the cavern walls for another glowing crystal said to hold power over the darkness. Their search is urgent amid the clashing chaos around them. Eldrick's keen eyes catch sight of a smaller crystal embedded deep within a jagged stone, its faint light flickering like a heartbeat. He strains to dislodge it, fingers grasping the ancient rock, but the crystal resists, locked tight as if bound by the cavern itself. Isla moves closer, ready to aid his efforts. As they free the crystal, a swell of darkness rolls through the chamber like a tidal wave, intensifying and pushing against them with relentless force. The shadows creep closer, alive with a malevolent hunger that threatens to overwhelm their fragile light. The Lumina crystal flickers, mirroring the rising tension. Isla carefully aligns the two crystals, their glow melding into radiant beams that carve through the shadow like swords of light. The encroaching darkness recoils, pushed back momentarily by this sudden burst of clarity. Hope sparkles in her eyes as the luminous power courses between them. Suddenly, a violent tremor shakes the cave floor, and a deep chasm splits the ground, separating Kaelin from Isla and Eldrick. The gap is wide and ominous, walls steep and crumbling. Each side faces peril alone, the bond between them tested by the abyss. From across the divide, Kaelin shouts words of encouragement, his voice unwavering despite the danger. Bracing himself, he begins scaling the sheer cavern walls with grim determination. His dark, braided hair clings as he claws upward, driven to reunite with his companions. Pressing forward into the shadowed depths, Isla and Eldrick discover faded inscriptions carved into stone, depicting an ancient ritual meant to restore balance between light and shadow. The symbols shimmer faintly under the crystal's glow, hinting at forgotten knowledge. The weight of history settles around them. Without warning, the Lumina crystal's glow dims unexpectedly, sending a cold shiver through Isla's heart. The pulse of magic seems to falter, as though responding to an unseen threat. Darkness creeps not only outside, but within their very artifacts of power. Eldrick becomes encircled by a shadowy presence, whispering ancient curses in a language long lost to time. The dark aura tests his resolve, threatening to consume his spirit and fracture their mission. With eyes narrowed behind his round spectacles, he steels himself against the encroaching despair. Summoning her courage, Isla raises the combined crystals, a bright shield of light forming around Eldrick. The dark murmurs recoil, the malevolent aura dissipating under the radiance they produce. Their unity of purpose shines as a beacon amid the suffocating gloom. Just then, Kaelin returns, breathless but determined, only to find a massive shadow beast blocking their path. Towering and snarling, it radiates menace, its eyes dark yet reflecting the crystal's faint light. The three face a new, daunting threat together. They move as one, using swift strikes and the luminous beams from their crystals to confuse and weaken the monstrous foe. The light dances around the beast, disrupting its dark essence, while Kaelin exploits every opening. Their combined strength begins to turn the tide. Suddenly, the chamber shudders violently, stones tumbling as the cavern begins collapsing around them. Rocks fall in maelstrom, and shadows swirl into a tempest of chaos. Urgency seizes their hearts. Escape becomes paramount amid the crumbling ruin. Breathless, they reach a sealed doorway emblazoned with the ancient tree emblem, a symbol seen throughout their quest. Recognition dawns that this gateway leads to their ultimate destination, the final chamber. The air hums with latent power, signaling the climax of their journey. Isla carefully fits the crystals into indentations matching their shapes on the door's surface. As the last piece settles, the emblem glows brightly, and the heavy door unlocks with a resonant burst of light. Beyond lies the chamber that holds the fate of Valora. Inside, a pedestal rises, cradling the great crystal of Valora. Its vibrant pulsing life energy fills the room, but falters, flickering dangerously as if unstable. The air around it crackles with tension, the ancient power teetering between restoration and ruin. Approaching cautiously, they are confronted by the shadowy figure seen earlier, now revealed as the corrupted guardian of the crystal. Its form wavers between light and darkness, bearing both menace and sorrow. The Guardian's presence commands both respect and wariness. The Guardian challenges their worth, eyes piercing as it tests the unity and resolve of the group. A tense standoff ensues, where trust and strength must overcome fear and suspicion. The fate of the crystal, and all of Valora, hangs in the balance. Stepping forward, Isla speaks with quiet conviction of balance and hope, her words weaving through the chamber like gentle light. The Guardian's aggression softens as the combined crystals resonate with her spirit, harmonizing conflict into calm. A fragile peace kindles between them. The Guardian yields, merging with the crystal of Valora in a brilliant fusion that steadies its pulsing energy. Light spreads through the crystal, illuminating every corner of the chamber in serene brilliance. The once flickering crystal now glows with vibrant life and promise. A flood of luminous energy pours forth, pushing back the shadows that had seeped into the cavern's stones and crystals. The colors return, richer and more vivid, as darkness is swept away by radiance. The chamber feels reborn, a sanctuary of light restored. Eldrick studies the now clear inscriptions carefully, fully deciphering the ritual meant to awaken the crystal's true power. His amulet pulses in rhythm with the newfound clarity, guiding their next steps precisely. The path forward is illuminated by knowledge and hope alike. Together, the trio performs the ritual, their hands joined over the glowing crystal. A radiant light envelops them, weaving threads of balance between light and darkness throughout the cavern. Harmony is restored, yet deeper truths linger just beyond the glow. The dark, brooding clouds that had long hung over the land began to dissolve, unveiling a vast expanse of clear, cerulean skies. The once withered fields breathed anew, vibrant greenery spreading like a gentle tide, reclaiming the earth. It was as if the world itself exhaled a sigh of relief, its wounds visibly healing under the cleansing light. In Isla's hand, the crystal she carried pulsed with a steady, brilliant glow, steady and warm as the dawn. The light it emitted was no longer flickering or weak. It symbolized a renewed hope that now radiated within every heart. This was the gleaming promise that darkness had been overcome. At the heart of the village, the ancient tree, their timeless guardian, began to pulse with gentle waves of life energy. Its leaves shimmered with renewed vitality, reflecting the balance restored between light and shadow. The symbol etched into its bark seemed to glow faintly, a beacon of harmony reborn. One by one, the villagers stepped from their homes, eyes wide in cautious wonder at the transformed landscape. The tense silence that had gripped them was replaced by a tranquil peace as smiles slowly returned. They felt, deep within, the promise of safety and renewal settling over their homeland. Eldrick gathered the villagers near the ancient tree and shared stories of their arduous journey. His voice, steady and enriched with wisdom, spoke of courage tested and the strength found only in unity. He reminded them that this harmony was won through the bravery of each soul who dared to stand against the darkness. Kalen stood solemnly at the edge of the gathering, his vigilant gaze sweeping the horizon. The scar across his left cheek caught the sun's rays, glowing faintly as if touched by the lingering magic in the air. His presence was a steadfast sentinel, reflecting the warrior's unwavering resolve. By the ancient tree, Isla sat quietly, the gentle breeze tugging softly at her silver braid as she smiled with peaceful reflection. Her vivid green eyes shone with gratitude and quiet strength, knowing the cost of their victory. In this serene moment, she felt a deep connection to the land and to her companions. With great care, the trio placed the Lumina crystal at the very center of the village, where it radiated a protective light. Its steady glow served not only as a symbol, but as an enduring safeguard for generations to come. The crystal's brilliance became a beacon, promising light in any shadow that may arise. Together, Isla, Eldrick, and Kaelin prepared for a new adventure, their spirits fortified by the trials they had faced. The bonds forged through hardship had deepened into unbreakable trust and shared purpose. With renewed hope and heartened resolve, they set their sights beyond the village's edge. As the sun dipped low, casting a golden glow upon the distant mountains, the trio moved forward with steady steps. Their silhouettes merged with the vibrant landscape, a testament to journeys past and those yet to come. The horizon shimmered with promise, and they were ready to embrace whatever fate awaited. The horizon burned red as Mara stepped through the dust-choked remnants of the city. She clutched an old, crumpled map, her only guide to the rumored sanctuary beyond the wasteland. "Just a little further," she whispered, eyes on the distant silhouette of twisted metal structures. The wind howled, carrying with it the voice of the past, echoes from a world undone by fire and fury. Suddenly, a faint flicker of movement caught her eye, a small figure darting between rubble. Heart-pounding, Mara called out, "Wait, I'm not here to harm you." An old man emerged, eyes weary but kind. "You seek the horizon's edge, don't you?" Mara nodded, hope fighting despair inside her chest. "It's not just a place," he said. "It's a choice between survival and rebirth." They journeyed together, tales unfolding as the sun dipped lower behind the ruined skyline. At night, stars pierced the heavy clouds, whispering stories of those who came before. Mara learned that the sanctuary was built on remnants of old technology, a fragile pulse of life in the wasteland. Morning light revealed a valley shielded by towering cliffs, crystals shimmering with an otherworldly glow. "Home," the old man breathed, tears streaming down cracked cheeks. Inside the valley, plants thrived against all odds, vines reclaiming steel bones of forgotten machines. Mara knelt, touching the earth, warm and alive beneath the cold ash of yesterday. "We rebuild," she declared, voice steady with newfound purpose. Together with the old man and the valley's sparse community, she planted seeds of hope and recovery. The wasteland outside remained harsh and unforgiving, but here, life bloomed resilient and brave. From the ashes, Mara saw not an end, but a beginning, the last horizon, a new dawn. Long ago, beneath the ancient ironwood tree, the village gathered each moonless night to await a silent whisper. Among them was Ira, a girl whose heart beat with the wild pulse of the forest itself. One night, the whisper carried a secret, a forgotten path hidden under the tree's roots, leading into the earth's deep veins. Drawn by the whisper, Ira slipped away from the village, her lantern casting dancing shadows on gnarled bark. She descended into the hollow path, where stones hummed beneath her feet and moss glowed faintly in the dark. A voice, neither cruel nor kind, echoed softly, "Seek the heart where silence dwells." Ira pressed deeper, feeling the pulse of the earth grow stronger, like the slow drum of a giant's heartbeat. Suddenly, she reached a cavern, vast and shimmering with crystals that caught her light like 1,000 stars. At its center, a stone pedestal held a single, ancient seed pulsing with life. The voice spoke again. "Plant it where roots meet sky, and the world will sing anew." Ira knew this seed was no ordinary life, but the pulse of the forest itself, waiting to be reborn. She grasped the seed gently, feeling warmth spread through her fingers, a promise of renewal. Climbing back through the winding roots, the forest seemed to watch silently, its breath held in hope. Outside, the sky was just breaking into dawn, the first light touching the ironwood's sweeping branches. Ira planted the seed at the tree's base, whispering a wish into the waking breeze. The earth trembled softly. Roots unwound, leaves shimmered, and a new bud sprouted instantly at the tree's crown. From the newly blossomed leaf, a serene light spread across the village, filling hearts with peace and wonder. Ira smiled, knowing the forest's whisper had become a song, one of life, deep magic, and endless beginnings. As the villagers awakened, they felt the change beneath their feet and the sky above, a world renewed in silent harmony. And the ironwood tree stood taller, its leaves forever holding the whispered secret of the Earth's endless heartbeat. Maya wakes slowly, the morning sun casting a warm, golden glow through the curtains. Her fingers curl tightly around the cool silver locket at her neck, as if drawing strength from it. In the quiet kitchen, Maya moves with purpose, preparing a simple breakfast while the soft, haunting melody of an old music box hums somewhere in the background. The tune feels familiar yet distant, weaving through the stillness. Elias enters silently, his sharp blue eyes immediately fixed on a stack of yellowed letters spread carefully across the table. Concern deepens the furrows on his brow as he reads, sensing the weight these papers carry. Maya reaches out, holding a faded photograph in front of Elias, a smiling woman clutching the very same silver locket. Elias' guarded expression tightens, as if memories long buried stir uneasily. Suddenly, the door swings open and Lita bursts inside, her auburn hair wild from the wind. She announces breathlessly that the entire neighborhood is plunged into darkness, a sudden power outage casting uncertainty over the day. As the last artificial light dies, the room becomes enveloped in shadow. Flickering candles sputter to life, their warm glow painting fleeting images on the walls around them. Maya suggests they make the most of the unexpected darkness, searching for clues hidden in the past that might link to the photograph. An urgent determination settles over the group. Elias retrieves a dusty shelf's lone treasure, an ancient clock, its face cracked and frozen in time. He studies the broken hands with a careful, almost reverent touch, trying to glean hidden meaning. Nervously, Lita begins to hum a melody taught by her grandmother, a haunting tune once locked inside the now silent music box. Her voice trembles softly as shadows seem to gather. Maya pores over the photograph's story, piecing together fragments as flickering candlelight casts shifting shapes across the walls, playing tricks on their eyes and minds alike. A sharp knock at the door jolts them. A weathered messenger, eyes full of caution, hands Maya an old envelope sealed shut, thick with mystery and silence. Breaking the seal, Maya unfurls a cryptic note hinting at buried secrets beneath a forgotten garden. Each word seems steeped in shadow, beckoning them onward despite unseen dangers. With exchanged wary glances, the trio silently agrees to follow the lead, tension thick in the air, as uncertainty creeps forward with every heartbeat. They ready themselves with flashlights and warm coats, a protective barrier against the cold, and the unknown looming beyond their threshold. As Maya steps into the cool night, the silver locket catches a sliver of moonlight, glinting like a beacon of hope and determination on her chest. Cautiously, they tread toward the overgrown garden marked on the note, where long shadows stretch and twist beneath the dark sky. Lita's foot strikes something hard. She kneels and finds a shattered clock face half buried in the dirt, mirroring the broken one inside their home. Elias crouches beside her, tracing the jagged hands frozen at a precise time. His brows knit tighter, the weight of this discovery deepening their unease. The faint wind carries Lita's melody anew, now more urgent, almost ghostly. The notes seem to swirl around them, entwined with the night air and unseen presences. Maya uncovers a weathered wooden box hidden under the tangled roots of a gnarled tree, its surface carved with strange, intricate symbols. Opening it, she finds a yellowed journal filled with delicate handwriting and carefully pressed flowers. The fragile pages whisper secrets long kept beneath